You know, you got to dig deep, you know, and that's the thing though, is people are disciplined. Like people are committed.
Yeah.
They're just committed to the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they're committed to giving themselves a way out when they should be, you know, finding a way to get to where they got to go. They're committed. Their commitment level is to excuses.
100%.
You know, I'm going to keep making these excuses. And they're so damn committed to that if they were to just move that over to something positive, they would be 100%
so damn committed to
better.
excuses.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
I love it. I love that.
And that's it, bro. Like, you know, and that's what I tell people, bro. Like, I was the most committed person to alcohol. I would find a way to drink.
Yeah.
I don't even care if I didn't have money. I would go, I would look for change.
Yeah.
You know, I would ask somebody, hey, can I get $5? I would do whatever it took to get my drink.
Yeah.
Why don't I do create that same energy, but with something that I need or something that's positive for me?
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Purpose Over Pleasure with your host, Alex Payne. And today we have the pleasure of having my man, Richard Macias here. Thank you, brother, for being here.
Yes, sir.
My man here runs a Warpath Fitness, right?
Yep.
Awesome. I've been following you for a few years now, before my own podcast was even on, and we were a lot lighter back then.
Yeah, definitely.
Now you're a lot bigger.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot bigger. But yeah, man, I like your work. I like what you stand for. I've seen your progress, and I'm impressed. At the very least, I'm impressed. So good to have you here.
Thank you, brother. Likewise.
Yeah. Hopefully the drive wasn't too bad, man.
Oh no, it was good.
That.
You know, California traffic, it's everywhere, so I'm used to it now.
On a Sunday though, it shouldn't be. I mean,
it wasn't
California.
that bad. Yeah, it could have been worse. It could have been a good 2.5 hour drive, but no,
oh damn.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
By the way, you can find Richard on his Instagram handle as warpath.fit, and his website is warpathfit.com, right? Yes. I'm going to make sure to put all the links and drop it on the page and all the posts, so they'll find you through there.
Okay.
Why Warpath?
Warpath, man, because I was going through a war, you know, during my transformation phase and stuff like that. So it just fit, you know, and then I looked up what the meaning was, and it's like you're on this hostile path, you know, going towards something. And that's what I felt like I was on, you know, because I was literally trying to kill my old self. You know what I mean? And I was like, I was going for a vengeance, man. You know, I was taking no prisoners, man. I was just going to go full on. And I had my mind made up that I was just going to fight until I completely reinvented myself.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of battles going on mentally, physically, right? And so I just like that name. You know, I'm on this path, this journey to just building this better person. And it's not pretty, that's for sure. You know, there's a lot of ups and downs, a lot of blood, sweat, tears, you know, that come along with it, man. So that Warpath Fitness is what it turned into. You know, that's what it stands for. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think I would refer to my own path as like a path of self-mastery. But essentially, I would have to agree with you. There's a lot of pain and battles with yourself, man.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that earlier. It's simple, but it's not easy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's crazy. I heard this, there's this Hispanic female that I follow on social media, and she had this little clip, and she's like, one of the worst things about the path of self-mastery is it's lonely and it's painful. It's lonely because you start losing people, and it's hard to find the new people that are on the same path as you. And it's painful because your own family members and friends sometimes just kind of turn against you,
or they don't get it.
They don't get it.
You know, they look at you, at this person that they've always known. You know what I mean? And like me, I was that person that was in their head, right? And then once I started changing and making different decisions and just acting differently, it's like, whoa, who's this?
Yeah.
You know, and it's either, like you said, it's a good thing or a bad thing in their eyes, right? So it's like, wow, all right, that's what he's doing. Now they kind of start to reevaluate their life in a way. So it makes them feel a little uncomfortable, you know. They see somebody leveling up, see somebody changing, and they're still the same, you know. So
yeah. That's true. That's true. I think I'm lucky in a way. Like my fiance, right, being a Latina, she's got a big ass family.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a big family, so in a way, it's like great. I don't have to deal with like too much drama in the family, and you know, the small family that I have, you know, we have a pretty good relationship. So, but you've come a long way, man. Your before and after photos, oh man, you know. If maybe my post-production guy can drop them right here before and after, it'd be funny. But yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, it used to be pretty thick.
Yeah.
What changed? Like, what made you go from that person to want to destroy that person in order to become the person that you are? Because it's not an easy shift.
No, it's not, man. And there was a few things that kind of was happening, during that time. One of them being just obviously, looking in the mirror, right? First off, like I looked in the mirror, I just was not happy with that person. And I felt like I just lost myself. I didn't know who I was. I lost my identity in a sense, because I did become a father at a young age, right? I became in a relationship with my wife.
How old were you?
And I was about 21 years old when I had my first kid. But I've played sports. I was an athlete growing up, so I was decent. I wasn't this ripped up guy my whole life. I did struggle with my weight growing up. But at this point, when I was my heaviest, 260 pounds plus, I was drinking a lot. I was using the alcohol as a vice. So I'd come home and just drink, however many beers it took for me to just black out, to just forget about the day or forget about my problems. And then I'd wake up, go to a job I just wasn't happy with, wasn't content with, had no passion, and then work my butt off, come home, do the same thing. And just keep repeating that cycle over and over and over again, right? Until it got to the point where my wife was tired of it. My kids were tired of it. They were begging me to stop, drinking. They were begging me to just change. My wife, of course, was telling me, and I just wasn't listening. I was just in this, I kind of felt dead inside, like paralyzed, trapped in my own body, though. And then this body that I was trapped in, I hated. So it's like, how do I get out of this? And it took me getting to that extreme moment. I remember looking in the mirror, crying, but it was like anger. Like, how the hell can I let myself down like this? Yeah. How the hell can I let my family down like this? Look at you. You're a slob. Like, I remember telling myself, and not in this way of feel sorry for me type of thing. Like, oh my gosh. No, it was like, it was like I was this other person that I was trying to be by reinventing myself. And I was speaking to this slob. Because it's like the higher purpose, my higher self was talking down to that person and telling them, what are you doing? Wake up. Look at your family, man. You know what I mean? Like, really, this is who you are? And then, I got mad. I'm like, nah, this isn't who I am. So that's what got me out of it and got me to snap out and wanted me to make the change, on top of the fact that my wife left me. My kids weren't there no more due to the fact that I was drinking a lot. So to kind of back up with that story, that job that I hated going to, I was doing HVAC at the time. I came home and everything was gone. The whole house was empty. Shit, what happened? Looked through the drawers, looked at the closet, clothes are gone. My wife's stuff is gone. My kids' stuff is gone. I knew what happened. They left, and my wife, she's from Texas originally. So she ended up getting a ticket and bounced out and left to Texas. And I was there. They were done with it. So that's what got me to that low point where I just dropped to my knees, man. And I just remember praying to God, God, I know I have this problem. I know I need help, and I need your help to get through this, So whatever that means, whatever needs to happen, I need that to happen today, right now, And that's when I started going online, started looking for help, started seeing, how could I change this stuff, and it ultimately led to fitness, nutrition. Start changing my habits, start changing how I viewed myself, and the self-love that I was giving myself would later turn into me completely being sober and ultimately starting Warpath Fitness.
How long has Warpath Fitness been around now?
So when COVID hit, that's when I built my brand. That's when I started building my business. So I'd say 2020, early 2020s.
Okay. Okay. Now, you mentioned God. One of the questions that I had for you was actually if you believe in God or not.
Yes.
Sounds like you do.
Yeah. There's been many times where he's revealed himself to me in the sense that I know that there's a God. At one point in my life, I did question it, growing up. And I grew up being Catholic with my family. Never felt it, never felt God's presence, never felt connected to that. And then later on, they converted into the Christianity and stuff like that, which I did feel more closer to him, but still had my questions, right? Like anybody else does, right? Is God real? If there was a God, why would this be happening? All the stuff that we think about as humans. But then I started paying attention to myself, my actions, what I was doing. And then I started seeing God show up in my life more and more as I was trying to rely on him too more and more. So I had to kind of meet him halfway.
you have an example of how did you perceive God showing up in your life?
Oh, well, just ultimately just changing like my life. Like I should probably be dead right now or in prison with all the choices that I've made. You know, there's been many stories that I've been into certain situations, been into certain positions, been around places that I probably shouldn't have been. And at the end of it, I look back and either somebody there got killed, something happened, people got arrested, and magically I was out of that situation. You know what I mean? So I look back and I'm like, that could have been me.
Yeah.
You know, I've gotten DUIs, I've gotten stuff. So like I could have killed somebody, you know what I mean? But I didn't. So little things like that, I think we sometimes take it for granted, but it's God. It's God showing you grace. It's God showing you mercy on.
100%.
You know?
I agree with you. You know, one of the factors for me was, I recently realized that is looking back at my childhood and then my early adult years, right? You know, I was sick. I was as sick as a person as a child. Like as a baby, I almost died a couple of times. I went into coma and stuff like that. And I survived. And then my early teenage and adolescent years doing dumb shit. Like we all done, all boys do it.
Yeah.
And then now in my 30s, I'm like, there's no way God placed me on this planet, saved my ass multiple times, made me avoid these situations, and I'm still alive. Like there's got to be some fucking purpose to my life, you know. And wasting my life would be just total disrespect to God. So to me, it was like, all right, it's good to know. Kind of gives you a good feeling, right? Like he saved your ass for 34 years already. Yeah. No, wait, it's time to do something about it. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. You know, I still, you know, stress out about stuff, right? It's life, like, but then I got to realize that's what kind of gets me past tough situations. It's like God has never left me. Why would he leave me now? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. As long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing and leading that way. And like you said, you have a purpose, right? And you have to realize that if you've gone through hard stuff, if you've overcame a lot of stuff, then that ultimately means that you have a purpose here on earth. Yeah. You know, and it's your duty, it's your job to be here and to fulfill that purpose and to also help other people that need to do the same thing for their life, right? How do they find their purpose, or how did they get through the traumas that they're going through? And if you have that answer because you've been through it, then it's your job to share that. You know, what worked for me might work for you, you know, because we're both human. Yeah. You know, we both struggle. We both go through the same stuff. So your situation might be a little different. You know, like me, I struggle with alcohol a lot. Well, what if you're the one that just struggles with weed, right? It's the same concept. We have an addiction, but mine's alcohol, yours is weed. Well, this is what helped me. Nutrition, fitness was able to get me to form the discipline that I needed to put me on that mindset 100%. To quit the alcohol. Yeah. So if you can use fitness, nutrition to form the same discipline, to create that mindset, you can stop smoking weed. You can stop doing heroin. You can stop doing meth, right? You can stop looking at pornography. Like whatever the case is, you have to use the roots of how that changed, which is discipline. Yeah. You know?
No, 100%. I agree with you. And nowadays, people fucking look for motivation, but it's not motivation that gets shit done, bro. It's discipline.
I hate that word sometimes.
Like right now, I guarantee you, cold times, winter times, discipline goes to shit for everyone. For everyone is motivated when it's sunny, when days are long, when sun is up, it's nice and warm, you know. But when it's cold, when it's fucking dark in the morning when you wake up, you know, hours before the sun is even up, there's no motivation there, bro. It sucks.
It sucks. You know, you got to dig deep, you know. And that's the thing, though, is people are disciplined. Like, people are committed. Yeah. They're just committed to the wrong stuff. Yeah. You know, they're committed to giving themselves a way out when they should be, you know, finding a way to get to where they got to go. They're committed. Their commitment level is to excuses.
100%.
You know, I'm going to keep making these excuses. And they're so damn committed to that if they were to just move that over to something positive, they would be 100% so damn committed to excuses. Yeah, you know what I mean?
I love it. I love that.
And that's it, bro. Yeah. Like, you know, and that's what I tell people, bro. Like, I was the most committed person to alcohol. I would find a way to drink. Yeah. I don't even care if I didn't have money. I would go. I would look for change. Yeah. You know, I would ask somebody, hey, can I get $5? I would do whatever it took to get my drink. Yeah. Why don't I do create that same energy, but with something that I need or something that's positive for me, right? And that's the difference.
It's draining, man. I mean, you saw my bar, right? Mm-hmm. Here's a funny part, a dumb part. I don't even touch it anymore. Like for a decade, I've been collecting all this. Yeah. And now it's like
just there.
For
it's
what?
Just an ornament now.
It's cool. Like it's ornament. It's collecting dust. It looks cool. Yeah. But it's just there's no need. Yeah. There's like before I was like, oh, I have this, I have that. And it's funny within maybe 6 months. Yeah. Perspective totally changed. Like I don't give a shit now.
Yeah. And it's probably because you felt better without it.
100%.
You gave yourself enough time.
100%. And when you drink and you're hungover and you just operate different, you can't shake that feeling off.
No.
And people don't understand that. Here and there, me, and my fiance, we drink wine mostly. That's all we drink. But hard liquor, maybe like once every few months I have a glass, only because I still, like, Scotch or Japanese whiskey. But not more than that, because the next day you wake up, you feel like shit. The whole day is ruined, and it sucks when you have plans for the next day.
Yeah.
And you wake up and you pass the alarm and everything fucking goes to shit. And you feel like shit the whole day.
And that's what people don't realize, right? It's like, hey, well, I don't got nothing to do today. I'm just gonna drink. Okay, alcohol just doesn't affect that day. It affects the next day and then the following day after that, and then ultimately, like, let's say you got drunk on the whole weekend, right? And you're hungover. You're using Sunday to kind of get over that hungoverness, but then you end up drinking again. Now Monday, you have to try to shake that feeling off, right? And then maybe Tuesday, you're feeling a little bit better, but you're still not 100%. So now maybe at Wednesday, we're at the point where you're like 95%.
Yeah.
Right? And then Thursday, Friday hits, you have 2 days where you're on.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, Sunday come back and you repeat the same process.
I wouldn't even say Thursday and Friday hit. Thursdays, bro.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
People start
Every
on Thursdays,
single day.
man. Yeah. When I was in college, we start on Thursdays.
You start Thursday, right?
through
Whiskey
Sunday.
Wednesdays, Thirsty Thursdays, then it's Friday.
Taco Tuesday
Tuesday.
Now that I think about it, it's horrible.
Every single day we have an excuse for it, Just like how people make the same excuse for, I can't do it. The holidays are coming up. Once October hits, the holidays are here. I'll just start January 1st. If you think about it, if you look at the calendar, depending what you celebrate, there's a holiday every single month.
100%.
We have freaking Valentine's coming up in February. We had January 1st was New Year's, right? March, April, May, we have Easter. We have St. Patrick's Day.
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day.
Independence Day.
When are we going to ever have this month where we're going to be able to commit because there's no holiday, right? Like, why do you feel the need to have to celebrate those days? Yeah. And if you celebrate them, cool, but why do you have to do it with alcohol? Right? Or why do you have to do it with certain vices to get to that point? And I'm talking about the people that can't control themselves like me. If you can have one drink here and there every couple months, bro, more power to you, because I can't do that. I'm the type of person, if I have one, I'm going to have 2, 3, 4.
You totally done with alcohol?
Yeah, totally done.
How long has it been?
Since I started the business, so it's been about 6 years. So I think 2019 at the end of that year was my last. And it's funny, people ask like, what's the date? What's your anniversary or alcohol date? I don't have one, or I don't know it at least, because my thinking of that was that I completely killed that part off. So why am I going to keep re-celebrating this time or this
another
year?
Excuse,
right? Another excuse, right? It's like, 5 years sober today. Let's celebrate the most horrible times of my life,
by drinking.
So to me, it's like I don't have a date because it's dead to me. Like I had to just, not that I forgot about that time, but I had to just in a way forget about celebrating that event. You know what I mean? So I don't have like a date, a sober date, a sobriety date, nothing like that. I just know around that year, that's when I stopped.
You mentioned your wife left you, took the kids and left you. And it's a tough situation for every man. I don't have obviously kids yet, but understanding that you fuck up to the point where your own wife and your kids leave you, that must have been pretty bad space you were at the time. How were you able to rebuild your family after that?
So it took a while, and I'm still rebuilding in a sense, right? Because it's never like a one and done thing. The moment I stop doing what worked for me is the moment I'm going to always go backwards, so that's my mentality. That's why I don't take days off, in the sense, right? I'm always doing this. I'm always doing something that's going towards my purpose every single day. But what I did was just, I did a lot of, it wasn't so much of what I was doing. I just stopped doing certain things, right? So I stopped making excuses for myself. I stopped drinking, obviously, right? I stopped eating like crap. And so it was like a lot of stuff that I had to stop doing first. And then I replaced those things with positive things like working out, tracking my macros, reading and meditating and reading the Bible daily, right? So I started adding those things in to form that discipline that I needed to ultimately reinvent myself. And I had to become this different person through my mindset on how I was going to think. Now, once I started thinking differently, then my actions matched with that. So I I started thinking differently in a more positive light. I started being a better father, a better husband, provider, right? Mm-hmm. So just doing more with the kids, doing more with my wife, starting to serve other people. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what it ultimately came down to, because I was living a life of just serving myself.
Yeah.
You know, how could I make myself, how can I make myself feel better? Let's drink, because I know that makes me feel good. But then I'm crying at the end of the day, you know, after I'm done with this. So I stopped thinking about Richard so much, and I started thinking about other people. And that's what got me to my business. How could I help other people change their life too? That's going to help me stay sober, you know? So yeah, it's just discipline, man. Discipline is what got me to that next point, you know, forming that discipline. That's what I lacked. I didn't necessarily have the alcohol problem, you know, now I know that, you know, at one point I thought, shit, I'm an alcoholic. Yeah. And I hated that about myself, because I labeled myself that person. Yeah. But then I'm like, I'm over here labeling myself an alcoholic. That means it's always going to be my identity. I don't want it to be my identity. I wanted to get rid of that part. So I'm not an alcoholic. I'm someone that lacked discipline. I didn't have the discipline to stop drinking. But now, since I use fitness, nutrition, I have the discipline. I could walk into a bar and not drink. Because of the discipline part. Yeah. But if I didn't have it, I probably would. I probably wouldn't be able to walk into that bar.
It's a slippery slope, man. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of men struggle with it. My dad was an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. Passed on to my brother, sort of. And I don't mean like passed on, maybe genetically. Well, I don't know. But my brother became a drug user first, drug addict, then became an alcoholic. And obviously after some years, he married, made a family. But sometimes he still likes to drink, but my mama was worried for me. Mm-hmm. Whenever I'll have a drink, she's like, oh, well, you know, she'd always worry. Yeah. But then after a certain time passed, and she realized that, you know, I'm not that type of person. It never comes up. But all the entire life growing up, that was a big issue. That's what I grew up around. You know, alcohol, domestic violence, and all that stuff. That sucks as a kid. Yeah. It's very prevalent in a lot of cultures. I know in your culture, in my culture, it's massive. Right. Like, my people love drinking. Fuck, man. And, you know, domestic violence, stuff like that is very common. You know, my line of work, now that I think about it, my whole fucking life, I've been around it. Yeah. Even now, like, I go deal with the situations for a living. Yeah. So, you know.
But now you're on the other side, too, where you're helping people, you know, go through what you went through. Yeah. You know, so now you're that positive side to it.
It's sort of my way of giving back. Yeah. This is my way of giving back. Yeah. People sometimes ask, like, oh, well, you know, how much money are you making? Like, bro, that's not how this thing works. Mm-mm. Before you even begin making any kind of money, it might be years. This is my outlet. Yeah. Like, I'm blessed to have, to live a life where I can afford, you know, projects like this, to meet people and talk to people like yourself. I'm blessed. Yeah. And this is my way of giving back. Mm-hmm. And so there's been a handful of situations now where I was told that something that I've said or my guest said on my podcast that changed somebody's life. Yeah. And that is the ultimate reward, man. There's ultimate reward. It's better than money. Yeah. You know, imagine you change somebody's life. You do that. You change people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was weird hearing that at first, you know, because I kind of didn't take it as serious as it was. Like, to me, I was like, yeah, right. Like, you're just trying to make me feel better. You know what I mean? Thanks, bro. I appreciate the support, you know. But then I'm like, I kept hearing it. I'm like, okay, there has to be some truth to this, you know, and I got to believe it. Yeah. You know, that's the other part too, is like, you have to believe that you're changing someone's life, because that's why you're doing this, you know. Going back to the money thing, like, I would do this for free, you know, if I had to, you know. I'm glad it makes me money, but like, if you're passionate about something and it is your sole purpose, you have to be willing to kind of do it for free. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to be,
because you enjoy doing it.
I enjoy doing it, you know, and I enjoy providing value for people. You know, right? Mm-hmm. That's like the ultimate gift. That's the ultimate. The money is like that's the byproduct of it. It's like, cool, like, I'll take it, you know. But you have to be willing to do it for free and to help people. And then ultimately, I think that's what generates the most income. Yeah, you know, is because you are providing true value. Yeah, and people want to pay for that.
I agree with that. Why do you think people, I know me for sure, and you just said you too, when people tell you that you changed their life, we're like, nah, man, nah. Yeah. Why do you think it's so hard for us to believe it?
I think because we still think of ourselves in a lower sense, you know?
100%. That's what I think too.
Yeah. So I don't think I'm anybody. Like, I don't, and I'm still not, you know what I mean? And it's not that it's me trying to be humble or whatever. It's just like, I drive a Honda. I you know, I have kids. Like, I have a normal life. The only thing I did was make a decision and a choice to do something every single day that's going to benefit myself and my family, and then to just showcase that how I did that, you know, and then now people are seeing, oh, what's possible, right? And it's showing them. So, but I've learned that that's something I need to work on myself, is accepting that and realize like, yeah, dude, I am somebody that changes people's life, and start living that way.
I think essentially every single book that I read, right, Outwitting the Devil, right now reading Psycho-Cybernetics, Think and Grow Rich, all those books essentially say the same thing. Yeah. And one of them is you got to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't think you're the person who's able to change somebody's life, or you don't believe that you're the person who's worthy of all these accolades, then you're not going to be.
Right. Yeah.
I think people confuse. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the same thing. And the same is true for the other side. You know, if you keep thinking negatively about yourself, well, you're going to keep having negative stuff come in your life, you know? So it's all about your mindset and how you're viewing yourself. Yeah.
What's your go-to discipline trick? Like, how do you stay disciplined?
I just turn off my mind in a sense. Like, I don't negotiate with myself. You know, I find myself negotiating, like, for example, but you have to be mindful of this stuff, because or else it'll go past you, right? So you wake up in the morning and you're just like, oh, I'm sore. Like, I did a really hard leg day yesterday. I should probably take today off, huh? Yeah, but you have to go work out. It's like, I'm telling you what's going on in my mind, right? I turn that off.
Mine is a bitch.
Yeah.
It's a bitch.
It is. And I think everybody's is. Like, just because me and you are disciplined and just because we've been able to get to a certain spot doesn't mean we have those thoughts. We just have learned how to overcome them, how to turn that off, right? How to flip that switch in a way, you know, like Bedros would say, flip that switch, right? Switch. That's what you have to do. It's going to be there. Expect it there. And a lot of your days, I'd say 90% of my days is the fact that I don't want to do it.
No.
I don't. There's a good 10% where I'm motivated and I'm like, all right, let's get to it. But it's very rare. So that's when I start hearing myself negotiate, like, nah, you should just, all right, you're done. Get your shoes on. Let's go.
Yeah.
You know, so that's my way of discipline.
Yeah.
And I also kind of get off on the fact that I'm doing shit that other people don't want to
do. When you're driving out of the house at like 4 or 5 in the morning, nobody's there, you know you're one of those different people.
And that's what pumps me up, bro. I'm a different breed. And that's where my self-talk comes in. Yeah. You're a bad motherfucker. Let's go. You know, it's go time. You want to be that bitch sitting on the couch losing your family again? You want to be that fat slob again? Yeah. Like, if people think I talk to them bad, you should see the way I talk to myself.
Oh, man, I'm the same way. I always battle that. See, my fiance, she's always like, you're always on the go. You do not turn off. The only time you turn off is when you're asleep. Even then, like, you jerk or you fight somebody asleep. Yeah. Like, to the point where, like, today she's like, you can just see a doctor. Like, you fight people asleep. I don't know, obviously. It's been a couple of times where I smacked her by accident and she gets all mad. But
that's funny.
I always struggle with that, man. I don't know. Do you ever have that? Like, to me, if I'm not doing something, I don't feel good. I don't feel like that's a productive day. I don't know how to turn it off. Yeah. Like on a Sunday, I haven't had Sundays off in years. I have Sunday off today, but this is like, I'm doing this podcast with Rich. Like this is like kind of almost like this, and the dinner with her, the date dinner is the highlights of my day and the workout. Yeah. But had I just had nothing planned for Sunday, I'd be like, I'm a fat slob. Yeah. Yeah. You ever struggle with that?
Oh yeah, dude, all the time. And I've had to, because that was one thing that was, in a way, hurting me. Because I wasn't resting and recovering for myself, and then I was starting to feel the effects of it in my workouts and my day-to-day actions, you know. So I'm like, I need to get to a point where I need to, and now I made it a way where I make it productive. So I'll add in my rest and recovery into my schedule. So for me, it's a mind thing. It's like, it's in my schedule. I have to do it. Okay. So I'm following my schedule now. This is. Yeah, it sucks. I got to be here. But I'm like on my phone. I'm working, right? I'm writing up meal plans. So I'm resting, I'm recovering, but I'm doing something that's providing value, right? Or it's like my wife is always seeing me on the go. Let me spend 2 hours with her and watch whatever movie she wants to watch. And I'll let her pick the movie. And I sit my ass there. I turn my phone off and I watch the movie with my wife. Some people would think like, oh, that's like whatever. To me, it's like I'm giving value towards my wife on what she wants to do. So I'm always doing something. Yeah. I'm not just sitting there ever, right? Yeah. So that's how kind of I use a trick I put it in my schedule, or I'll be doing it to serve other people, you know, and that's how I'll turn myself off basically.
How many hours of sleep do you get a night?
I've been getting about a good, I'd say 6 to 7.
Okay.
Yeah, so decent. I was only getting like 4 hours, 4 hours.
Ooh, no, that's bad.
Yeah, that was bad. That's when I was, I wasn't. That's when you saw me small, like I wasn't growing. I was living a healthy life, but I was missing that whole other side of the healthiness, which is the recovery and the sleep process.
It's funny because an average person who's not familiar with fitness, when they see you, you're from being small, or when you were fit, there was a stage where you fit but really lean, but now you're a lot bigger and thicker, right? The first thing they say is, "Oh, he's on some shit."
Right.
He's on some shit.
Yeah.
But then people who are familiar with fitness, right, we can kind of tell. And the first thing that comes to mind, like, oh, what's his sleep regimen?
Right.
What's his nutrition like? Because it's pretty. When somebody's juicing up, it's pretty obvious.
Right.
And I hear that all the time when people say that, well, this guy is on something. He's on something. No, you'd be surprised how much you can change just by proper sleep, nutrition, counting macros, and the workout. And some basic supplements.
Basic stuff, And those people that say that, whether it's true or not, it's a cop-out. Because they're basically saying, like, the only reason he got there was because he had this extra help. Even with that stuff, you still need to do the basic stuff. Tracking macros, right? Sleep, recovery. You got to get your ass to the gym because you can't get that way just sitting there not doing anything. You know what I mean?
I know guys who are on T. I know a couple of guys who are on T, and they're not following nutrition regimen and proper workout regimen. Dude, they look average. They look, they got a belly.
Right.
No, you still got to work out. You still got to. I had my friend Nakash Bajaj. He's a triple certified MD, and he actually works with people and does supplementation, hormones, all that. And he says, the first thing I do is I look under the hood. People come into me, oh, give me some testosterone. Let's do some peptides. And like, no, slow down. What's your sleep like? What's your nutrition like? What's your daily habits like? Do you ever take a cold shower? Do you talk shit to yourself? Do you hate, like... And then, like, are you a doctor? You're a psychologist. Like, I'm a doctor. But these peptides not going to do shit for you if everything before that is... horrible.
Yeah, they could actually cause more harm than good. You're putting this stuff in your body that your body's not even ready for, or it doesn't even need. Right? It's not even gonna work. It's not gonna work that way. Yeah, but everybody wants to, right? That saying, it must be nice. Right? You ever heard that?
Yeah.
Like, it must be nice for you to be able to go to the gym and spend all this time every day. Like, people swear like I'm in the gym 24 hours a day. Like, I wish, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm probably there more than the average person just because I train people, but a lot of it where I'm working out, I do an hour of weights. And then depending how much cardio I have during that time, it might be up to an hour of cardio, right? But I don't do it on the same time. So 2 hours out of the day, I'm working out, which isn't that, it's like, what, 8% of your day. And if you're only doing it for 1 hour, it's like 2% of your day. You know what I mean? Which isn't a lot, but you don't need to be in the gym, live in the gym every single day. What are you doing outside of the gym? Yeah. That's what matters.
Yeah. I learned that late, that actually what's most important is sleep. Because my sleep is horrible. Now I optimize on 6 hours. Like once a week, I get 8 hours. The other 5-6 days, I'm optimized on 6, and it works for me.
That's good.
Works well for me. I figured it out. What do you think are the major supplements, like the basic key supplements that men should take when they work out?
I would say a good multivitamin, something that covers all the bases, and then from there see where you're lacking in, right? So if you're lacking in vitamin D, that's where you throw in a vitamin D supplement. But as far as like a basic stuff, I would do like magnesium, just for the rest recovery portion of it, right? Fish oil for the joints.
Inflammation.
Inflammation, stuff like that. I already said the multivitamin, and then what was the other one? Ashwagandha for nighttime. An hour before nighttime for that sleep. Again.
What about ZMA? You take those?
I don't take it. I've never taken it. I know people that have and stuff like that. I just haven't personally taken it.
But you take magnesium.
I take
ZMA,
magnesium.
Zinc, magnesium, aspartame.
It's like there's a bunch of different magnesiums. But yeah, if as long as you're just taking like the basic stuff though, right? And then blood work, getting your blood work checked just to make sure if you're deficient in iron, anything like that, an iron supplement. But like you mentioned with the last coach, look under the hood, right? Evaluate what you need. Some people are taking supplements they don't even need. And they're just taking them because they heard it's good, But
somebody said it's good.
Yeah, what do you need specifically? What's going to work for you? That's what you should take, So that's where getting with somebody that's knowledgeable, right? If you don't know, get with the doctor, get with the coach, get with somebody that's in that circle that can guide you down that path to ultimately what we're doing is we're trying to optimize our health.
Yeah.
Right? We're trying to optimize ourselves. That doesn't mean throw everything at the damn sink to optimize it. No. The most little stuff that you need to get to the best part is what you should do. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I learned something valuable from you the other day. I learned that protein companies lie about the amount of protein in the scoop, and I was so pissed, dude. I was like,
"Did you
no
do it?
way. Yeah, hell yeah, do it." Now I know exactly how much in my scoop, man. But I'm like, man, all these years, I'm behind like pounds and pounds of protein powder, dude.
You think all the gains you missed.
All that money I spent.
Yeah.
But yeah, just, if you guys don't know what we're talking about, is tell them, man. Tell them about the
so like you get your protein supplement. They have a scooper on it, but if you read the nutrition label, right, the nutrition label is going to tell you, okay, for every 37 grams, you're getting 25 grams of protein, 2.5 grams of fat, 2 grams of carbs. So you're over here thinking, all right, if I just put one even scoop inside, this is what I'm getting. But that scoop might be only 27 grams versus the 37 that you have. So you're actually not giving yourself all the nutrients that you're supposedly supposed to be getting. So that's why I tell people, weigh everything out. Don't trust the nutrition labels. Don't trust what it's telling you. You physically put it on a scale, weigh your stuff out, and see if it's accurate.
Yeah.
And if the scooper's been accurate more times than not, then okay, you don't have to weigh it no more, right? You kind of already know.
Yeah.
But at the very beginning, I always tell people, weigh your stuff out. I don't care if it's peanut butter, eggs, whatever the case is. If you're serious about your results and you really want to ensure them, weigh your stuff out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like that with a lot of stuff, man. You'll find, the back of the label will say it's one thing, and then you actually weigh it out, and it's like, this ain't even close. You know what I mean? Like one chicken patty or something might be sufficient, but then you're like, this is only half of what I'm getting.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal. It's a big deal, like I said, if you're trying to really ensure your results.
You eat mostly whole foods, or what's your go-to?
So I switch it up. So right now, with me being on prep, I'm eating a lot of fish, chicken, ground turkey, and then just throwing in like vegetables, different carb sources. So my carbs right now are rice, sweet potatoes, and then maybe some white potatoes in there. So I keep my staple pretty simple. I'll pick 3 protein sources, 3 carb sources, and then just
per week?
Probably I'd say once a month.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I'll stick with chicken, turkey, and fish for like a month, and then I'll switch it out with something else.
Damn, that's discipline.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it though, because I like to know how it's gonna react to my body. Right. Like I know how fish, chicken, and turkey is gonna react to my body. I know I'm not gonna get bloated. I'm not gonna get these stomach aches. It's gonna perform well. It's gonna give me the results I need.
Okay.
So I already know what to expect on a week-to-week basis. Now, I weigh myself. I'm not losing weight. I'm not seeing the progress I want. It's definitely not the food, right? What else is going on? How's my sleep? How's my stress management? How's everything else going? And then I'll switch stuff up. So, yeah, it's for me, I like to just the most simple stuff, and that's what works. I don't like to think about stuff too much. So, like with food, right? We waste so much time. What are we going to eat today? What should we put
It's always
and then you end up not even doing it, because it's so hard. So I just keep a bunch of simple stuff in my fridge, meal prep it, eat that for 2-3 weeks, switch it out.
I'm one of those lucky people who I don't go to sleep after rice. I can eat a bowl of rice and I'm still good to go.
Really?
But I know, you one of those?
I'm one of those too. Yeah, I'll eat a bunch of rice, man, and I'm good to go.
But I know guys who eat rice like for dinner before they go to sleep, because they know they'll rack out. For me, I can eat a bowl of rice. I'm good to go.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I think oatmeal's like that to me sometimes.
Oatmeal? Did you hear about that study about oatmeal where they had 3 different groups of people, and 2 different groups of people. One, they gave them like processed oatmeal that I eat.
Yeah.
And the other ones got steel cut, right? Oats.
Yeah.
And basically they were measuring their glucose levels and see if they get hungry. And the people who were eating processed oats got hungry within a very short period of time, and their sugar blood level was super high.
Wow.
So steel cuts are supposed to be the best. As a matter of fact, what they realized from that experiment is that you should have dinner for breakfast, sort of thing. Your breakfast should be heavy on fats and protein. But I know for me, it's tough because when I went on like a month of keto, dude, not having carbs, my workouts were horrible. Yeah. Like they were so tough. Like I would have to wake up, have fatty and meaty breakfast and fatty and meaty lunch to build all that fat, in my body for me to work out. Because in the morning, the workout's just horrible. I just have no energy.
Yeah. It takes a while, too, for that fat to digest, you know, and actually get you going and stuff like that. Yeah, keto's hard, man. I did keto. This was before, I did my transformation. I was just trying everything. I was one of those guys like, let me try the biggest fat diet. And back then in like I'd say late 2000s, like 2018, 19, keto was big, everybody was doing it. So I tried it. I felt like crap off of it. Yeah. And then I did lose weight, but it wasn't good weight. I didn't look good. I just looked like skinny, sucked up. So then I started learning about macros, doing that approach. And that's why now that's what I stick with, balanced macro diet.
No, keto really leans you out, but again, I just felt weird.
Yeah, it's just water, right? Water, glycogen, because you're not having carbs, So you're doing the same thing in a sense of being in a calorie deficit. With keto, you're neglecting the whole macronutrient, which is carbohydrates, right? So it's like you're, calories in versus calories out. As long as you eat less calories than what you're putting out, you're going to lose weight. So that's why people do find success off keto and really fast is because they're used to eating carbs, then they stop doing it for a week or two, and they see that the scale has dropped. Yeah. Oh, shit, I lost 7 pounds in 1 week. Well, your body physically, it's not possible to lose all that fat in 1 week. So it's water.
It's water.
It's water.
That's what it's stored.
It's what, the glycogen, right, inside the muscles. So, and that's why you can't get the pumps. That's why you can't get a good workout because you don't have that glycogen stored up in that muscle. So yes, on paper, you look at it like, oh man, keto's the best thing. I lost 7 pounds in a week. But it's not optimal.
Keto can be deceiving too, because at some point you hit you plateau, and then people think, "Oh, in keto I'm gonna lose so much, I don't even have to work out." But at some point you're gonna start losing, like you mentioned. Yeah. The wrong parts of your body are gonna start. Start
losing muscle, and I think people on keto they're just focused on the scale number. Yeah. And that's why it kind of seems like the greatest thing, but the scale. I tell my clients, man, don't pay attention to the scale too much. Like, don't let that be the number one reason why you're seeing if you're getting results or not. No, take your pictures. Body measurements are going to tell you a lot too. If your waist is shrinking and you're getting smaller, but the weight's staying the same, that's a good sign. You're losing inches, which is fat. So we want to build lean muscle while obviously men we want to build lean muscle while losing the fat. That's the goal. So that's where the macros come in, and if you're structuring properly for your body and what you're doing, that's going to be the best approach because you're not neglecting any types of foods, right? You're able to have carbs, fats, protein, and it's sustainable long term. Yeah.
Plus, you need carbs. You need carbs to operate. You need carbs if you're doing like seriously heavy lifting, right? A lot of those.
Carbs. So carbs isn't like an essential macronutrient, right? Your body can live without it. But it's definitely, I'd say, one of those like enhancement type things where it's going to make you feel better, look better. You're better off with it. I tried doing that no carb stuff for a while, man. It just gave me, headaches and just not feeling right.
I was just going crazy, dude. At the end, like week 1 was great. Yeah. Cheese, bacon, eggs, avocado for breakfast every day. Yeah. Sign me up, man. Yeah. But by week 4, I was like, nah, I'm tired of cheese and bacon and eggs, man.
And that's where people fall off, right? Because it's not sustainable. Again, the best diet for you is going to be the one that you can do long term.
Although there are some big supporters of like full carnivore diets out there. Jordan Peterson is one of them. His daughter is one of them. They were able to cure a lot of stuff. Just getting
like the autoimmune diseases and stuff like that.
Correct. Yeah, correct. But if you think about it essentially, right, throughout history, there's a lot of people out there, a lot of cultures survived just off of pure like meat and carnivore diets. Especially the winter times. Right. You don't have grains and stuff like that. So, and before we also used to eat different. Yeah. How is it that now we live in a country that has the most gyms and fitness facilities than any other country in the world, but at the same time we're the most obese and unhealthy nation?
Laziness, lack of discipline. That's what it comes down to. And I think it's a sense too of spoiledness. We're spoiled over here. We don't have to struggle and fight for food. We get food delivered to us, DoorDash. We don't have to leave our house, and we get it right then and there. Right.
We went from getting out there hunting for days and for weeks, risking our lives, to now sitting on your ass, just using your thumbs, don't fucking your phone, and then somebody will deliver your food. Yeah. I think a big contributing factor to the obesity and the fact that we're so unhealthy is the processed food, man. Yeah. We used to eat nose to tail. Now what do we eat? What are we eating?
anything and everything, right? All this processed stuff. And two, I think we're in this microwave society too now, where everything is delivered as quick as possible, right? We have Amazon, we order today, it's on our door tomorrow, right? And so when let's say we do have a home gym, we're working out, right? We don't have to go out to anywhere, but we're not seeing the results. We did it for 3 weeks. Why don't I have a six-pack yet? It's because you want stuff right then and there. You don't want to actually put in the time and the work to get it. You know, and I think that's another thing too, is the society we're living in, man. We want everything right away. And if we don't get it right away, we quit. And then we move on to the next thing, right? So it's like feeding that dopamine in our head. Oh, this didn't work out. We need that new thing. We need that new thing, you know? And, you know, I get clients sometimes, we do a program for 3-4 weeks. Hey, are we ready to switch it up? Not yet. Like, you've only done this for, 30 days. You know, we have to get an idea how your body's reacting to it and all this stuff. But they're like, well, I've been doing it for 30 days already. I'm getting kind of bored of it. Get used to it. It's the repetitiveness that's going to get you there. You know, you're not just learning how to lift weights and get results this way. There's the mindset portion of this too that I want you to pay attention to. By you doing something for 30 days straight over and over again, you're going to lose the interest maybe, but you keep doing it. Guess what you're doing? You're building that discipline that you told me you wanted. So now that we're building the discipline, why are you shying away from it? Let's keep going. You know, but it's just people want this shit right
Instant
away.
gratification.
Instant gratification. You know,
they give me the pill, show me the shortcut. I remember when I just stepped into my fitness journey, man. The first like 4-6 weeks for sure, I was like, nothing's happening. I was fucking annoyed, and you start seeing the change. Like, oh, it's working. It's working. And then you get to the point where you see it works, and now, oh, what else can I do? Just like you, right? What else can I do? Now you're competing and stuff. God knows what you can do after that. So you build that level of confidence where now, like, if I could do that, I can do this. And if I can do this, I can do something else. It bleeds into everything in life.
Everything. And then you use that to go to something else that's not even fitness related. Oh, shit, I just built my body from ground zero all the way here. What else could I build from ground zero up? Oh, I wanted to start that business. Okay, let me figure out how do I do that. Right? And kind of use the same approach that you did for the fitness thing, where like, okay, I had to kind of figure things out. I learned, I took some stuff off. I did this, I did that. I'm gonna do the same thing for this. Now you're working on that while still doing this, right? And this is that level up that we talk about. You know, you're leveling up from that person that was just working out, changed his body. Now you're that same person that works out, changes his body, but also owns a business now. Right now, you're that same person that changed his body, owns a business. Now you're helping hundreds of people. And it keeps going and going and going until you look back 10 years from now. You're like, damn, like I did all that. All from changing myself.
This is a product of that. This my podcast, my business is all from my life. Is all the product of my own discipline and changing my own mental state and physical.
And it was just an idea at one point, you know. And then you probably did something that gained confidence. You're like, okay, I'm gonna try that now.
Yeah, and the confidence gives you competence, and with competence, you're able to do other things and take risks in life.
Because I'm sure at one point when you first started, you were thinking about it, but you were kind of like, I don't know, like, how do I do it?
There's been many times where I started and quit. Yeah. And then, you know, it's hard also depending on who you hang out with.
Right.
If you hang out with people who constantly drink and bitch and cry and just play victim, and
that's going to affect you. Yeah.
You're going to be that person as well at the end.
Exactly. Yeah, I tell my kids that, you know, right now, them growing up, you know, it's like, you might not think that your friends matter right now in the sense of like, you know, well, they're just cool, you know, like, how are their morals? How are their values? Because you're gonna slowly turn into what they do. And if you see something that they do that you don't like, be careful. You know what I mean? Like, if they're talking back to their parents, you know that's not right. You know, I teach you the opposite of that. Be respectful to your elders. So that's a red flag right there. You know, you start doing that, and now you're gonna start talking back to us. That's gonna get you in trouble. You know, so who you hang around with is very important.
Man, you got 4 kids.
I got 4.
That's 4 sets of friends you have to look at.
And I got 3 daughters, man. So it's not just like I got 4 boys. You know what I mean? I got 3 girls.
Girls are hard.
They are.
Girls
are
hard.
Yeah.
I so to say, have a child, kind of like my niece. I pretty much raised her since she was in diapers, and she's a young lady now. She's got a boyfriend and all that. Dude, it's different from like having a nephew or just having a son, because. With a son, you know, you can, you know, discipline them. Because, man, we understand different languages, right? One of them is, you know, language of violence. And I think any man should be capable of speaking that language.
Yeah.
Because you never know. That's what separates man from women, right? You have to be able to deal with the consequences. Yeah. But with women, it's different. Like with girls, dude, like, because you're the example. You're that first love. You're the example of how to be treated. Right. And then you're like, damn, this is tough.
It's tough.
Yeah. Because you would never allow some fucking guy out there to treat your daughter in a way that, you don't want her to be treated.
No.
But before that happens, before she chooses a good man, you have to set the example, and that shit is hard.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's honestly another reason why I had to change. And then this was a conversation. So when at the beginning of the podcast, when I was speaking to myself in that mirror, I was there for about a good, I'd say 2 hours talking to myself in the mirror, and all this stuff was coming up. Like, you got daughters here, like everything that I knew I needed to change, man. I was like telling myself this, and that was one of them. Do you want your daughter to end up with somebody that's like you right now?
Yeah.
No, I don't. Okay. And do you want your daughter to, how you're treating your daughters right now? Would you want someone to treat them like that? No, like I wouldn't. You know what I mean? So I'm literally showing my daughters, like you said, their first love, how to pick their men, right? What kind of morals and values do those men possess? Are they out drinking, partying, doing all this stuff? Or are they home, protecting, providing? They work on themselves. They're building themselves up, right? Now that I have my son, I'm showing him how to be a man, right? What do men do on a daily basis? How do they act? How do they treat women? So it's like now I'm being looked at from both sides, from the woman's point of view and then from my son's point of view, which is hard too.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's easier in a sense because I'm a man. I could talk to my son in a different way that he understands.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it though.
It's crazy, man. As a father, as a man, first of all, right? As a father, what is your opinion on current state of affairs, man? Like all this stuff that we have going on out there, the LGBTQ, the feminism, the wokeness, all the garbage that are pumped into kids in schools, and
it's sad, bro. It's sad, honestly. I don't agree with it. I respect everybody else's opinion, what you want to do with your life, like go for it, but don't affect my family from it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Don't start bringing it in. Don't try to tell my kids, right, how to act, how to live their life, because under my house, we're going to serve the Lord, right? We're going to do things our way. We're not going to do things the way of the world, right? And so it's a battle. We're not only fighting all the other stuff that we have to normally deal with. Now we're fighting all that stuff too as parents, and having kids in this day and age, which is hard, so it's a lot of talking. It's a lot of having uncomfortable conversations with my kids, especially my 13-year-old, my 11-year-old, right? Because it's in their schools, man. Yeah. It's there. They're learning that stuff.
Yeah.
And so we're at the point now it's like we might homeschool. It might get to that point too.
The numbers for parents who homeschool now skyrocketed.
And our kids were homeschooled at one point. And about 2 years ago we got them back because my daughter, she wanted to go to middle school with her friends, and I wanted her to experience going to school. You know what I mean? Having friends, going to the events. Yeah, like being social, being part of the school events and stuff. So I did want that. So we were like, okay, let's try it out. But they were homeschooled for these exact reasons, for the way the world was moving into that direction. And it's sad, man, because they're confused. They're confused on like what's right, what's wrong, and that's why I think that's why it's very important to talk about that stuff and set your standards in your house. This is what we stand for. This is what's happening. These are the reasons why. And I allow my kids to question me in a sense of like, I'm not going to be that dad where it's like, you do what I say and I don't want you questioning me, right? There's some dads that are like that, and I get that. But I tell my kids, and if you don't agree with something, I want you to come up to me and I want to have a conversation about it. Why don't you agree? Let me hear your side of point of view from it. And then let's come to an agreement on that, right? So, because I do want my kids to question stuff. I don't want them to go to work for a company and the boss is telling them to do something and they can't say anything back. So, especially my girls, man, I want to teach my girls how to be like strong, independent women, right? Like how to have like that masculinity where they're like, they don't take no shit from people, but at the same time, they're a woman.
It's tough raising a girl. Like nowadays, man, I look around, like this podcast I created for men, women too, but mostly for men, because when I looked around and I see the current state of affairs, especially in the line of work that I do, I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was terrified. And I only have a limited amount of time with everybody, right? But this is my way of where I can dedicate time to talking to my guests and maybe extract the value and give it to people. Because what I see on an everyday basis, it just tells me that the way that society is moving, if we're going to go in the same direction, the society will collapse. And throughout history, this happens over and over and over again. And people don't know history. Nobody reads fucking books nowadays. No. They can't see past their own nose. And it just scares me. It scares me. The world that we live in, our generation, because we're what? We're Gen X. No, we're millennials.
Right.
We're millennials, right? Looking at the Gen Z right now, man, what are they gonna do? How are we supposed to take this world and hand it to them? They crumble if their food is delivered without fries, or a drink. They lose their shit. Their prescribed medications. Like, I've been to a call one time or an incident where there was an 8-year-old. A mother called on an 8-year-old because she couldn't control him. Wow. Can you believe that? Obviously, there's no father in the house. Multiple children, but this 8-year-old is already on a bunch of different medications for ADHD, etc. Bro, you know what the cure was for ADHD when we were kids? An ass whooping. That worked really well. Now they pump him with all these medications, and then eventually over time, what happens? They get immune to them. So you got to up the dose, different, stronger. So by the time they become teenagers, they're all fucked. Mentally and physically.
Yeah, they literally change like their biology, right? Like they change the way their brain functions and the chemicals, right, that go through their brain. It's not even the same person no more, and that's what I've seen with like, I've dealt with people with mental issues and stuff like that, and they take that medication and they're either zombie mode where it's like, dude, are you even alive right now? I'm talking to you, you're just staring straight at me, or they're, like you said, it's not even working for them no more, and they got to keep increasing the dosages. So it's sad. I don't know. What is the solution to that? You know what I mean? And I think what it is it's us. It's the fathers. It's the men in this world that need to step up.
Yeah.
That's a start, at least, I would say.
I agree with you.
Because it's lacking big time in the household, man. I don't know the exact statistics, but I know it's like more than half of fathers are missing from.
Yeah, the divorce rates right now are pushing 60%.
Yeah.
60%. And majority of those, because the law is not written to benefit the man. Unfortunately, the law is written to benefit the woman. Like, I was watching this short video. Some chick posted a video. So, you know why I have 6 babies from 6 different baby daddies? I'll tell you why. Because if you have 6 babies with the same baby daddy, that's only like $300 or something per baby. But if you have 6 different babies with 6 different baby daddies, it's twice the amount per baby daddy.
Wow.
So I'm taken care of. The question is, why aren't you having 6 different babies from 6? I was like, what the fuck?
The logic
is happening. Can you believe this shit?
I've never heard
I'll send
somebody
it to you.
say it
I'll
that
send
way.
it to you. It's for real. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Wow, dude, that's crazy. Yeah, so literally it's like a business for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How to monetize like what they're doing.
I'm not gonna do shit for the rest of my life. I'm just gonna get child support for 18 years. God damn it.
That's crazy.
But women, a lot of times, they get away with a lot of stuff.
They do, yeah.
And the problem that I have, and I'll say it flat out, men out there need to put women on check sometimes, because a lot of times women operate based off emotions. And if men operate based off emotions, it's going to be chaos.
Right.
Okay? What separates us, because we're able to bring in the stoicism. The real man is able to be stoic. But, for women, a lot of times hormones kick in. They do stuff. Only women and children are allowed to be silly.
Right.
Man, if we're silly or if we say some shit, we're going to pay for it. Financially, physically, whatever you call it. So a lot of men out there, they don't keep women on check.
Yeah.
I come from a culture and a country where men were men and society was on check. Because when men are walking around standing tall, they're masculine, they believe for what they stand for what they believe in, society is okay.
Right.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Might not be the greatest, but it's okay.
Yeah.
But then you look at different cultures, certain countries in Europe, I can name right now, ridiculously liberal. To the point where I think in France, you're not allowed to ask your child's mother for a DNA test.
Wow.
So you shall accept that child, even if that child is totally different skin color than you.
It's yours.
It's yours.
Yeah.
I can't believe this shit.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's how it's turning towards, towards everything now. And I mean, we have no say in a way, I mean, our voice isn't as powerful as it once was, you know, and it's because we have to. And that's, that, you know, it's another thing too. Like I told my wife this, I'm like, you guys are powerful in your own way, right? Mm-hmm. Like there's no difference between a man and a woman in the sense that one's better than the other. Mm-mm. You know, we're both equal in a sense of what we can provide mm-hmm. to this world. You guys can bring life into the world. Men cannot. We could help, mm-hmm. but you guys ultimately deliver that mm-hmm. to the world, right? So your guys' strength and your guys' you know, what you bring is a lot different than the man. So we need both of them.
Yin yang, yeah.
But we need to also stay in our lanes when it comes to that. You know, and I hate this stuff going on now where it's like, well, men can do it. Why can't women do it? Well, maybe because we're completely different species and we should have different roles. Yeah. You know, and I think that's where a lot of people butt heads in the household is like the woman's trying to be the man, right? And the man is not stepping up and has a lot of femininity and basically being the woman, right? So they're like polar opposites, but now one's trying to act like a man, one's trying to act like a woman.
But then it's not natural to
It's not natural.
It's not natural
yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like it's not gonna work. You know, that's never gonna work. You know. So me and my wife, we have an understanding. Like you do certain things in the household that I'm just not gonna do because that's not my place. Mm-hmm. You know, like when my kids cry and they bump their head, I'm there to pick them up. You know, are you okay? Da da da. But then who do they run to for that comfort?
Yeah.
They run to their mom for that. You know, because me, I'm there for them. I'm not the type of dad that's like, get up, toughen up, let's go. Yeah. But in a sense, I'm like, let's go. You're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like roast some dirt on it. It's okay. Dad's right here. I got you. But we're going to try it again. You know, my son, he fell off the bike the other day and he didn't want to get back on. I'm like, no, you're going to get back on. You're going to let this bike beat you? Right? So I had like a conversation with him, little coaching right then and there. Like, all right, you're going to let this bike beat you? You're better than that bike. You know, you control that bike. Yeah. You notice that bike cannot turn on without you. Mm-hmm. And if you're not on that bike loses its purpose. Yeah. And he's like 5 years old. He's like, damn, like, so if I don't ride the bike can't do nothing. I'm like, yeah, you're in control, son. You got this. Get back on your bike. Let's go. He got back on. Yeah. He was fine. He learned. Right. So that's the dad part of me giving him comfort. But when he wants to cry and he wants to get comforted, he goes to his mom and his mom will do that part. You know, so I think that's what's needed, you know.
Well, it's like in ancient Sparta, right? A mom was in charge of raising a son up until the age of 8 or 9, I believe. And then after that age, the father takes him to a Spartan academy, totally, completely away from the mom. Yeah. So some of them never survived and came back, but the ones who survived became the most elite task force in the world at the time, the most elite warriors, because you need discipline. If you babysit the child, especially a son, there's nothing wrong with mother's love. Yeah. We need it. Like I love my mom. I'm a mama's boy. I don't give a shit who says what, you know. But if you babysit the child, especially the boy, for a long period of time, teenage years, early adulthood, he's never going to learn. No. He's never going to develop a man. No. Because he's going to be a boy. Yeah. Yeah. He's going to be a boy.
Yeah. You need those. And I think that's what we're missing nowadays is that, like, you know, back in the day, right, you had to do something not to prove, to prove that you were a man, right? It's like that rite of passage.
Rite of passage, yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, that's what we're missing. Yeah. We don't have that rite of passage nowadays. You know, where do people turn into a man? You turn 21, you can go drink now at the bar.
That doesn't make you a man.
Yeah, that does not make you a man, you know. And that goes back to me, like that's what I thought a man was. You know, watching my cousins and my uncles and stuff like that. What did they do? They went to work, they got off work, they drank beer, they maybe played cards here and there with all the other guys, smoked weed, smoked cigars, and that's what they did. Okay, cool. That's what men do now. And I was wrong. I didn't have that rite of passage, you know, until now. Now I understand what that is, you know, so I'm going to have a rite of passage with my son. Yeah. He's going to have to do certain things. He's going to have to prove himself in a way on, okay, he's a man now, you know, and then I'm going to treat him like that man that he is, you know. But yeah, I think that we're missing that rite of passage thing big time.
Oh, man. Yeah, well, that's what happens when you take away the father from the family. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, everything is incentivized and done in a way that takes a father away from the family. Yeah. That's one of the ways to basically turn the society into a complete bunch of slaves. Because if the government becomes completely tyrannical, who's going to fight it? Yeah. Not the kids, not the women and the elderly. It's the men. So who's the government going to go after first before they ever rise against them? The men. And that's what
set up that way.
Set up that way.
Like you said, you know, like, I see all those billboards if you're driving down the freeway, right? It's like, for fathers that need lawyers, right? Because they're going through like a domestic case and they're probably trying to get their kids. But guess what? The court is against them because they're the father. They're going to give their rights automatically to the woman, to the mother, right? And so, yeah, it's literally set up that way. That way we can take the easy way out. We remove ourselves. Guess whose fault it was? It was the dad. He just left. Well, shit, the dad was trying to get his kids back, but you just made it impossible for him.
Yeah.
He has to,
There's a few things that I can't literally makes my blood boil when I see. And one of them is nasty custody exchanges. It makes me so angry. I see these adult grown parents, mothers and fathers, just so spiteful of each other. Like they hate each other's guts to the point where that negativity, you could see it's on their children. And when you're around it, it like gets on you. Like, ugh.
Yeah, you just want to get out.
Like to the point where one time I saw this mother comes out with the stroller and the baby, and she enters the lobby. And as soon as she enters the lobby, dude, she pushes the stroller across the lobby to the father. Can you fucking believe that? She just pushes it, and he catches the stroller like, you fucking bitch, and she leaves. I was like, that's a child in that stroller. That's a human being.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that child's psyche as he starts growing up. He's going to go to one household where the mother's like, your daddy ain't shit. And he's going to go to daddy's house where, oh, your mother is a hoe.
Yeah.
And that he's going to be all fucked up.
And then he sees himself being passed around. He's going to be like, well, where am I at in this situation?
Yeah.
I'm not wanted here. I'm not wanted here.
And the worst part is they use children as ways of communication and as like my fiance's parents are divorced, and she was used kind of like as a person to like, you know, where's the money for alimony, where's this, where's that. Well, and at some point she was telling me, I grew up with like, you guys need to fucking communicate. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Talk to each other. I'm not passing any more messages. I'm not asking for any more checks. I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
Like that's horrible for a child growing up.
Yeah. No, it is, you know, and I've came from that too, because my parents split up, you know, and I'm the oldest, I'm the oldest out of three. And so I was kind of like that middleman in a point where, you know, my mom drops me off. Hey, did your mom give you this? Or, you know, did your dad give you the check? Or I need the check. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know, like, call him. Like, I don't, what check are you talking about? I'm like 7 years old, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, it's sad, you know, they're used as like a commodity in a way, or used as this like, here you go. Now, where's my thing that I need? You know, because it's your weekend now. You know, it's sad, bro. It is.
Would you say, the reason I'm asking this question is because not only because we're just talking about parents, but because a lot of times, a lot of successful people that I meet and people who are on a complete path of destruction in life, it all comes down from the parents. You either become like your parents or in spite of your parents. Right. Did you have to go through that? Did your childhood and your parents or one in particular, you know, like affected you or how you are as a man now?
Oh yeah, big time. You know, I knew just making certain decisions in my life that I had to make them sooner because I saw my parents didn't make them. You know, so that made me want to make them sooner. Like one thing was the alcohol thing, right? Like my dad struggled with drinking alcohol. You know, now he's fine and stuff like that. But like growing up, seeing that, you know, I thought that was right. And now I grow up, I'm like, okay, that's not right. You know what I mean? So I learned that quality from them, and I knew I couldn't do that. You know, I knew that was something I shouldn't change. So it teaches me, you know, sometimes having bad parents, and my parents were not bad, you know, I don't want to talk, I love my parents, but it teaches you sometimes what not to do versus what to do. You know, and that could be a learning lesson too. Just because you come from a bad parenting childhood doesn't mean you have to end up bad. That's right there. You have the best coaches in front of you. What not to do.
What not to do.
What not to do. You know what I mean?
If you learn just from that.
Yeah.
Just from that, you can learn a lot.
You know, or you can make the same excuse and say, oh, my parents did it, so therefore I have to do it. And now I'm going to end up just like them. And then you have your excuse and you use them as the reason why
everybody uses that excuse.
You know, oh, well, it's because my parents, you know, or it's because I was raised this way. No, you made that decision. You know, so it's a lot about just taking responsibility for yourself. Yeah. You know, a lot of times my parents didn't take responsibility for themselves. Yeah. So that's what I'm learning.
I give our parents a little bit of a break. You know why? Because growing up, they didn't have YouTube. No. They didn't have fucking Spotify, podcasts. They didn't have any of that. Yeah. The resources are available. Psychologists, shrinks, nothing. So for me, when I realized that, I have empathy and understanding for them. Yeah. But we don't have that excuse. No. We don't have that excuse. I mean, YouTube is free. Yeah. Free. You just sit there and watch and take notes and practice and listen.
And apply it.
And apply it.
You have to do that part.
Yeah. I think Bruce Lee said, willingness is not enough, you must do. Knowing is not enough, you must apply.
You must apply. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people do is, like, there's so many people, I call them the magicians, right? They're behind the scenes, or the keyboard warriors, right? They're behind the scenes researching for days. They never take action.
Yeah.
They're never going to do nothing. You know what I mean? And then there's people that just take action. They don't research. They don't think about it. They just take a risk.
But they figure it out?
That hurts them. Yeah, they figure it out. Sometimes it hurts them, but they figure it out, right? So what's more important? Is it finding everything that you have to do and then maybe doing it, or just doing it and then learning as you go?
You don't even need to find everything. You need like 70% of information.
Yeah.
Because an ounce of action is better than a pound of fucking knowledge.
Because the steps will reveal itself as you go through that, right? Because you might not need, or you might not even plan for something that you're going to need, but you don't know until you get to that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just a lot of, I'd say just go for it. Do what you want to do in life. Stop being scared.
And the more confident you become, the more ambitious you become, maybe, sort of, and the bigger goals you have. But then with those bigger goals, you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
This shit's scary.
Yeah.
Like, you want to do it, but then how many more bicep curls do I have to do to get to the point where I can do this in my business,
Yeah. Yeah. But I think that's the part too that, like, keeps you going. If you can learn how to embrace that feeling of uncertainness, of like, it might not work out, but what if it does?
What if it does?
Like, that's the thing you got to hold on to, that hope of like, fuck, there's 90% of the things that can go wrong, but there's 10% that can go right. Do I believe in myself?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'm going to get that 10%.
Yeah.
That's going back to, I don't know if we were filming yet, but when I was saying, like, my parents tell me, don't do this because of this. Look how many people it affected. But what about me? What if I'm that 1% it won't affect? Let me go try it. Right? And then I learned the hard way, But I think for me, it's always been that I've always been like, I had to do it. I have to learn myself. People could tell me all day long, don't do that. It's not good for you. But until I do it, until I know if it's not good for me or not, then I'll learn, But
I believe that.
It's a good quality, but also it could be bad, It's just a matter of how it's brought up.
But at the same time, we only have one life to live.
Yeah.
What is life essentially, right? It's like a passage of time.
Yeah. You just got to start all over and do it again.
Yeah.
And do it a different way, It's like they say, there's no failure. It's just a lesson.
Yeah.
At that point, so.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of this stuff that we're in, bro, like being entrepreneurs, being in this, like, just mental health stuff, like there's going to be a lot more failures, I think, than actual wins in a way.
Yeah.
And then you get to a certain point where you're like, okay, the wins are coming. They're starting to stack up, but you have to get to that point by doing the work first,
A lot of it is failure. People don't understand that. One of the things that bogs my mind, people don't understand that the success that you acquire is not overnight.
No.
Like yours is 5 years, right?
Yeah. And I'm still.
Yeah. And you still got a lot of work to do. Same here. I realized last year that the person that I became last year, right? I had a year of complete transformation last year. It was the best year I had in my life so far up to last year. Accomplished a lot, changed my body, changed my mind. And some people think, well, you did it in a year. Fantastic. But I thought about, not really. Mm-hmm. It took about 10 years. Mm-hmm. It started with simple YouTube videos. Just sitting there and listening to people like Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, Jordan Peterson, or other people just kind of, okay, I can relate to that. I can see that. Let me try this. And eventually it's, progression after a decade where you get some kind of traction and a lot of things change in your life. Right. It's not overnight. It's not even a year. It's fucking decades of work, bro. Takes a while.
And you have to be willing to know that in the beginning. I'm not going to see anything from this until maybe 10 years from now. That's what I love about bodybuilding, man. Like, you're going to work your ass off. You're going to eat the food. You're going to do this for years on end before you even finally look like you're a bodybuilder. Before you even look like you have the muscle density to even pull it off. Yeah. So it's that delayed gratification, right? Yeah. And that's why I love fitness. That's why I love, nutrition and lifting weights. It's the fact that you're not going to, it's going to take time to get there, right? But you can't quit. And if you quit, you have to start all over again, But yeah, this stuff has been compiling on for years and years and years on end. You might even say, like, ever since you were little, you kind of had a sense that you wanted to help people. It started back then. You just had to find your way,
You have an inner voice inside that bugs you when you don't do shit that you wanted to do, when you're not disciplined enough.
Yeah, and it's loud as fuck.
It's fucking loud.
It's loud. And I sometimes can't turn it off until I do it.
Yeah.
you know.
But I think it's a good thing.
It is.
It's like an annoying, persuasive driving force.
Yeah. Yeah.
The only time it gets quiet for me when I do shit,
Yeah.
when I'm progressing in life.
Yep.
Otherwise, it kills you. And that's what I think men do. All the negative shit that they do is when they hear that voice. I think we all have it, and instead of listening to it and changing, what do? Drugs, food, alcohol, porn, sex. Like, you know, those are my vices too.
Yeah.
You know, women are my vices for a long, long period of time.
Yeah.
But it never led anywhere good.
Yeah.
Until you finally clean your shit, and you know, just stick with one and become a man of God, then things decide to change.
Yeah.
Before that, it's a pure waste of energy and time.
Yeah, I think we try to like drown that voice.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's so loud
Yeah.
and it's just like bugging you. It's like, it's driving you crazy because you're not doing anything to stop it in a sense. And all you're trying to do is just drown it. Okay, let me see. If I drink enough, will it go away? Okay, it went away for a little bit, but it came back.
The next
All right,
day.
let me try this. Let me
day.
try that. All right. And then it's like, fuck, nothing's working. You know? And until you finally get to that point where you give in, you're like, okay, I'm just going to listen to it and I'm going to do it. And then you do it and you're like, shit, it went away. And I feel better now.
I caught myself.
Yeah.
There's been a few months last year where I realized I'm kind of in peace. You know, this is the most peaceful I've ever been. It's like, where's the voice? It's almost like, the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And
Now you're missing it.
Yeah, now you're missing it. But it comes back. It comes
Yeah,
back. One of those days when you
always do that.
want to snooze the alarm,
Yeah.
it's like, the voice is there. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, you little bitch.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
wake up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's that beast in us. You know, I call it taming the beast, right?
Right.
You got to find ways to tame that beast because if you don't,
Yeah.
like you said, it can come out in two ways. It can come out positive where it helps
Yeah.
you, but it could also come out very fucking negative where
Yeah.
you ruin a lot of shit.
yeah.
You know, and that's the tyranny, that's the tyrant in you
Yeah.
that we all have, right? And it's that person that just it has no purpose in life. So what does he go do? He goes makes other people's life hell.
That's horrible.
You know, and now you're over here being that person, being that man that's affecting other people's lives. You know, so you have to listen to that voice to allow yourself to be who you need to be.
For me, one of the deciding factors was, for example, imagine you that kind of person. Just a totally negative, miserable person who just hates his or her life. And then you hold a certain position of power in the real world, right? You're a police officer, you're a doctor, you're a politician, you're somebody. You do something that affects other people's lives. Okay, let's say I speak for myself, right? I'm a cop, right? Imagine if I'm just a complete piece of shit, asshole cop.
Yeah.
I hate my life. I drink. I'm on the brink of divorce. You know, I have 5 children, you know, whatever. And now I have a gun and a badge. Do you think I'll be the most fantastic police officer in the world?
Hell no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go do my surgery if I'm a doctor and I would love it and I would give a shit about the person? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
You know, as a matter of fact, there's more people die from medical malpractice than they ever do from, you know, police shootings. But it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it was like, how can you be that person and then have that position in life? Like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't even be here.
Shouldn't.
You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Your whole mental state is not, you know, normal.
Yeah.
You need to see a professional.
Yes. You need to fix yourself first.
Yeah.
You know, and all these people are in positions where they're supposed to help others, right? A doctor,
Yeah.
a police officer, a politician, you know what I mean? Like, and there's been many cases where we see that. You know, there's been many politicians where we see that.
Yeah.
You know, there's still that child sense, you know, like that just never took care of any of their traumas. You know, and they're getting brought up and they're getting pushed on us. You know, so yeah, I think it's very important. Like, that's why I had to fix myself. You know, I get people ask me, how do I become a coach? You know, how do I do what you do? And I kind of look at them like, brother, first you have to work on yourself.
Yeah.
You know, let's get yourself in check. You get in shape. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you show people what you can do, and then others will start to automatically ask you, you know, hey, dude, I saw you made a crazy transformation. How'd you do it? You know, help me.
Yeah.
That's how you get into it. You know, change yourself.
But sometimes people have a certain perception, standard limit of perception that they expect to see before they listen to you. I'll give you an example. Literally yesterday, I'm talking to a bunch of people, right? I'm sharing my financial advice, how I run my business, how I do my taxes, how I take advantage of real estate tax breaks, et cetera, right? And some of them like making jokes. Oh, like, that doesn't sound legal. That doesn't sound legal. I'm like, no, it's legal. Like, the tax code is pretty thick. There's a lot of shortcuts you can take legally. And then one guy mentions, well, you know what, Alex, when you make it out there and when you start living large, then I'll listen to you. So I laughed. And I'm thinking, first of all, what is living large?
Yeah.
Like I have mentors, right? Like for example, Bedro's one of them. Do you ever see the guy flashing a Rollie or pulling up on a Ferrari? Never. He's worth millions of dollars, just like my business partner, mentor too, multi-millionaire. Very cool, calm guy, right? So people want to see you achieve these grandiose things, look a certain way, act a certain way, and then they'll listen to you.
Right.
Bro, I'm the same person.
Yeah.
You know, my assets versus liabilities ratio is in something else. It's not on a fancy watch. It's not on a fancy car. You know, I drive a Toyota for God's sake. I don't give a shit. It takes me from point A to point B.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I take care of business the same way.
Right.
So it's like when I laughed, I was like, all right, man, cool. Then I guess you're never going to see me living large like that.
Yeah.
So take my advice or leave it. I don't care.
It's probably a good thing, though, you know, because if that's what he's looking for, you know, in order to see if you're valuable or not, come on. Anybody can fake that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And we know a lot of those people on social media. Everybody is a freaking carbon copy of Wes Watson nowadays.
Right.
It's like, dude, you guys clone each other or what? Like, have your own authenticity a little bit, you know? The guy's cool. I respect him, but be yourself.
Be yourself, you know, and be your authentic self, and that's going to ultimately attract those people that are going to be around you and who you need around you. Yeah. You know, and I tell people, man, the people, like, you're so relatable, bro. Like, I feel like you're, like, one of me. I'm like, I am one of you. What do you mean? Like, because they think, like, social media, you know, you have a certain amount of followers or whatnot. It's like, you're up here. It's like, nah, bro. Like, that's why I tell people I drive a Honda. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not this flashy person. I like nice things. Don't get me wrong. I'm good. I'm financially all right. Of course, I want more, right? But it's not like a must-have for me type of thing. You know, I want stuff that money can't buy.
I noticed a lot about people, a lot of people that I deal business in the business industry, my side business and stuff, and also my mentors. They don't flash like that, bro. But then when you realize what they're worth, you know, in the books, you're like, damn. It's almost like the guy just approached you, shook your hand, said, how can I help you?
Right.
And he's worth of millions of dollars. You're like, it humbles you. Yeah. It humbles you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. And I think that makes you more valuable. You know what I mean? Because it's like you find that out about somebody. Like, I like doing that, man. I like learning stuff about people that I never even knew. And it's like, damn, that's pretty cool. He don't even put it out like that. You know, but it comes out. It's always going to come out. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a good person, it's going to come out. You're a good person. You don't got to go out of your way to be overly good to people, you know, because then it comes off fake. Yeah. Which that stuff comes off fake in a way. Yeah. You know, it's like, I don't know.
People can sense bullshit a lot
of
times.
They can. Yeah. So that's why I got a lot of people that, you know, they don't go to these higher up online coaches because they resonate more with me. And it's like, bro, you're just real. You're honest. You have your family life. You know, you show your struggles and where you've been at. Like, I can relate to that. I can't relate to somebody driving a Ferrari with a Rolex on.
Well, there's levels to this game.
Yeah.
There's levels to this game.
There is. Know? Yeah, definitely.
They operate on different set of rules. You know, I've seen that myself. Like, they have different schedules, different set of rules. And in the beginning, it's a lot of chaos. Yeah. Like, my life is chaotic, dude. Yeah. When I look up to those people that have these beautiful set everyday schedules in life, right? You wake up, you do your meditation, you go to the office. But they run companies. But guess what? They meet with the CEO of their company once a week. Yeah. They don't meet with the employees. They don't with the problem. They meet with the head of the company once a week. Yeah. So they're not bothered by it. So after like 2 or 3 decades, they can afford that perfectly balanced life, you know? Right. But at mine and your stage, bro, it's fucking chaos right now. Work. You know, making it out there. Yeah. That's what people don't understand. Yeah. Yeah. And you got 24 hours in one day, right? Like, that's why every second has to be accounted for. Yeah. You know, like, I mean, sometimes I wish I could just lay around, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm like, what would that do for me? It ain't gonna do nothing, you know what I mean? Like, you fantasize about that stuff, but then when it comes down to it, it's like, you know, that's not the answer, you know? So you just gotta get rid of it. But yeah, I mean, you gotta earn your way. Like you said, there's levels to this stuff. You gotta earn each and every level, you know? People always make fun of me when they're like, oh, you watch football? No. Oh, you watch basketball? No. Yeah. I watch UFC. I like martial arts, but you would never catch me on the couch or anywhere, just basketball, football games. No. And when I ask him, like, why don't you do it? I was like, well, does it make me money? No. Does it make me fit? No. Well, it doesn't have to. It's entertainment. Cool, bro. How many hours a day do you watch football for? Yeah. Or, you know, football Sunday or whatever, Monday. I don't. The whole day, dude. Yeah. Oh, it's my day off. So you just wasted a whole freaking day staring at a box, not doing shit with your life. You haven't made $1. Yeah. You probably, you know, spend money eating and drinking. Yeah. I don't see a point. I totally don't see a point. To me, it's a waste of time. It is. Yeah. And then explain it to people. They don't understand. They're like, oh, you just fucking weird.
Yeah.
All right, cool, man. I'm gonna go make some money.
You're the one with the problem, bro.
You're the one with the problem.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go make some money.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's cool.
It's funny, you know, because you get somebody that gets blacked out drunk every weekend. That's normal. That's fine. Like, oh, you don't drink on the weekends, right? People like see me now. You don't drink? The way I look, you know, tatted up, Mexican, all this stuff. People, I go to restaurants and bars. All right, man, we got the, Modelo's on sale right now. I'm like, oh, I don't drink. You don't drink? I'm like, nah, why would I drink? Do I have to drink? I'll just take a water. You know, they automatically, so that's like normal now. And when somebody says, no, I don't drink, it's like, what?
You're weird.
What do you mean you don't drink?
Yeah. I don't trust you.
Like, well, what's going on with you? You sick or something? I'm like, nah, bro, I just feel good not drinking.
Next thing you tell me you voted for Trump or something.
Yeah, right? Trump supporter? Like, yeah, okay, so what of it? So yeah, it's just it's becoming to that point where like you're the weird one if you don't watch football on the weekends, and if you don't drink, if you don't do X, Y, and Z that everybody else does. You're the outlier. You know what I mean? And that's kind of it's weird. It's weird.
I'm okay with it. I'm fine with being an outlier now.
Yeah.
Now
I want to.
Yeah.
Because I'm not trying to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
We just went over that how this world is going, right? And so if I'm the outlier, then great. Like I'm doing something right, And I used to be that guy on the couch every weekend. But guess what? I was 260 pounds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had a big drinking problem.
Yeah.
I was on the verge of my divorce. My kids hated to be around me.
Yeah.
So which one? And you got these grown men wearing another man's name on their back.
Yeah.
That like is not making, like you said, it's not making you money. It's not making you richer. And you're pissed off the whole day if your team don't win.
My team. What is my team? Does your team make you
my
money?
Team, yeah.
Like Patrick Bet-David can say my team. He's a part owner of Yankees, right? He can say my team. Yeah. Mark Cuban can say my team. I can't say my team, bro. Neither do I give a shit about saying any team is my team. Yeah. Okay.
And I used to be that guy, bro. On the weekends, Sundays, the Rams lost. I go to my room. My wife and kids already knew. Don't talk to dad. He's mad. The Rams lost. And I think about it, I'm like, bro, what the fuck was I doing? Like,
crazy, huh?
Crazy. Just to think that was me.
And not a single player from that team give a shit about you.
They don't even know me. They don't even know I exist.
Yeah, they're still making their money.
Yeah, still making the money. Like, I'm watching another grown man live his dreams while I'm sitting on the couch wasting mine away.
Yeah. Sad.
Crazy.
Some of the viewers are not going to like what we're talking about right now.
But that's the truth they need to hear.
Speaking of family and relationship and stuff, I know we had this conversation I think yesterday, right? Like I was telling you that me and my woman, we don't really like hang out. We don't have that many couples around us who are on the same path or same mindset. And you're like, for sure, man, like me and my wife hang out ourselves too.
It's just us.
It's just us, dude. It sucks.
Yeah.
When you really dive into the relationship part, and when two people in a relationship are synchronized, it's awesome. But when you start to realize that other couples around you, not everyone's on the same page.
Right.
And a lot of couples not putting in the work, because it's fucking work. Yeah. Like maintaining a relationship was a lot of work.
It's hard, yeah.
How do you and your wife maintain the relationship? Because you guys are both into fitness heavily. You guys got kids, pets, it's a busy household. Like, how do you guys make the relationship work? You guys have certain dates a week or non-negotiables? Like, talk me through it, bro.
We obviously put God first. That's the umbrella from our relationship. That's what protects us from all the storms that are hitting. The hail, the rain that comes down on relationships, because it's still not perfect. We still fight, we still argue, we still have our little moments. But then now we realize, okay, well, God's under control, right? God has us. So therefore, how would God react to this situation, right? So we have that going for us. And then we realize that it's never us versus each other in the sense.
Yeah.
It goes back to biblical too, right? You're never fighting against the flesh. You're fighting against the spirit, And so I know whenever she's maybe not in her best mood, right? It's a mood that I'm fighting against. It's not her. She loves me. I love her.
I feel you.
You know what I mean? And if everything was all fine and dandy, like she'd be right next to me, we'd be, doing whatever. But it's the fact that she's in this mood now, or I'm in this mood, or something happened to turn this into an argument. So is it really the person that we're against, or is it the situation? It's a situation. So if you can step back and realize, like, okay, like I love this person, ain't nothing gonna happen to where it's gonna cause this to have us divorce. So is it worth it?
Yeah.
So in my mind, she can speak for herself. She takes like 3 days to get over stuff, but me,
oh man, you're in trouble after. I'm not responsible for what happens to you after this episode.
If you give me a ride home, dog.
I got you. I'll call you an Uber, bro.
Uber. But no, and she knows that, so that's why we could laugh about it. We could talk about it because that's something that we're working on, But for me, I think about this and I'm like, okay, this situation is not gonna want me to divorce you. Like, I'm not gonna divorce you over this. I love you. You're my best friend. I want to hang out with you. So why am I gonna waste a few days of not talking to you over something that's never gonna change anything into a permanent position, right? So I let's get over this. You know, let's get through it. Let's find a solution. What was it that angered you about this, and and we talk about it. All right, come up to a solution. 10 times out of 10, bro, we come out stronger. We come out better. And it's kind of like these situations, they're going to happen, but if we can use them to just help us become better afterwards and learn from them, is it really a bad thing in a way? Or is it just a situation that's we're going to have to get through? And that's what we look at it as. So that's what really keeps us together and close knit, is the fact that we're on each other's team. You know, we both want the best for each other. And that might look different. She might have one goal that's different from my goals, but I got to just support her in that. And she's going to support me where I'm at, and it goes hand in hand that way.
You ever read Outwitting the Devil? Yeah, I remember the part where he says when a man and a woman meet each other and they're synchronized in their goals and in their love for each other, they're unstoppable.
Unstoppable, yep.
That shit is
powerful.
True. That shit is powerful.
It is. It is. And we're living proof of that stuff because nobody in our vicinity or household is doing what we're doing.
Yeah. We recently had a situation. There's a couple that we really admire. Right, they're a little older, slightly older than us. We really admire them. Awesome couple, but they've been having their ups and downs, and they had a pretty bad down this time, and to the point where like, damn, they're like the last couple we were looking, and admiring. Even they kind of took a dive, but luckily they worked it out, and we realized like it's just us, and when you realize that, it's like, damn, now you either keep working on it because there's people looking at you. And we've been told that. Yeah. We've been told that. Other couples look at us like, how do you guys make it work? We've been asked those questions in the DMs or just by friends. And you're like, now we have no choice. Yeah. When you become the example, now you're like, fuck, now you have to hold the standard. Yeah. You set the standard and you're like, shit, now you can't go down. Yeah. Just like with God, right? Whenever I do something or a thought comes into my mind, I'll be honest, I'm a human being. A thought comes to my mind, I'm like, no, can't do that. God's not going to like it. Of course. And if I do it, karma's going to bite me in the ass. So it's right there. I was actually thinking when I expand the studio, I was thinking maybe having like couples over and just having like couple episodes, kind of sharing the tricks and sharing the knowledge of how to make a relationship work. Because I realized, man, with divorce rates hitting 60%, that's 6 out of 10 couples. Yeah. Not even guaranteed that the other 4 are making it work. They're just married on paper. Right. But maybe their relationship is horrible. Horrible. So you never know. Yeah, you never know. I think it's closer, like you said, depending on that situation, it's probably like 70-75%, if not more, which is sad, and it all steams down from that. If there's no parents, the kids are going to be affected and so on and so forth. Yeah, but there isn't a lot of couples that are united and together like us, and that's honestly why we don't have a lot of friends. Yeah. You know what I mean? We don't hang out with a lot of couples, either they want to go out and they drink, party, go to the club. We don't do that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we got 4 kids at the house. We're in bed, dude, by we're trying to get in bed by 9:00. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if 10 for me. Yeah. If we're lucky, like 8:30, you know what I mean? But that never really happens because we got to put the kids to bed and do all that stuff. So, but it's just, and I love it that way. I wouldn't change it. I don't feel the need to have to go out and I don't know, live this other life. I've already kind of done all that. Now it's just about building, building and growing with each other, So, yeah, you definitely gotta. It's hard. It's a hard thing, marriage or relationships in general. They're hard, and that's where you got to come in and make sure that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and then they got to do what they're supposed to be doing. Yeah. And then you guys got to do together what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah. Right. So it's like 3 things need to happen in order for that marriage to really work out pretty well. Right now, I think the issue that's happening is a lot of men out there are not masculine enough, and a lot of women are masculine because the whole issue with divorces started decades ago. Yeah. So now you have this whole generation of kids who grew up in broken households. They grew up without proper role models. Boys don't know what it's like to be a man. Girls don't know what it's like to be a woman. They just don't have any idea what it's like. Then they meet each other. Then they get into a relationship. And it's all fucked up backwards. Yeah. And then what happens next? We're done. Move on to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And then women become more promiscuous. Men start doing dumb shit. And who's going to create families now? Yeah. We're gonna be taken over by different cultures that they're gonna just, like in Muslim culture, right? I was born in a Muslim country. I have friends who are Muslim. They have plenty of kids, but they maintain the nucleus of the family.
Right.
That's important. God and families first.
Right.
Here.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's not it. Yeah. And we have to make it a point, to have date nights. You know what I mean? To like show our kids too that we do come first in a way. Yeah. Because your mom and dad love each other. And that's why you're here, ultimately. You know what I mean? Because we loved each other enough to want to have kids, and you're here now. So I think a lot of parents or people that have kids like that, they're missing that factor. They think that they have to just live solely for the kids, right? And like provide and stuff for the kids, but then they neglect their relationship. What's going to happen is the kids are going to leave, they're going to go to college, and then this is going to be them too. And all these years, 18 years leading up to that point, they never worked on their, marriage and stuff like that. So now that's where a lot of people divorce too. When they're 50, 56, 40 years old, like it's just, they don't know how to be together no more. They lost that relationship together.
Yeah. I'm a product of obviously family where, my parents got separated. As a matter of fact, it's funny. There's not a single couple in my entire family, not a single marriage that was successful.
Really?
Yeah. I was talking to my mom the other day. I'm like, you realize we don't have anybody in our whole entire family and relatives, immediate relatives that stayed together and had a happy marriage. Yeah. So to me, it was like, I'm going to change that shit.
Yeah.
I'm going to change. My fear of losing in everything always is bigger than winning, than the want to win.
Right.
So I told myself, I'm going to break all this shit. All the generational curses, that shit stops with me. All the drinking, all the, broken families, all the violence, all that shit stops with me. And it's fucking work.
Yeah, it is, bro. It's hard. And now that you say that, I think that's the same thing for me and my wife. Her parents are divorced. My parents are divorced. Grandparents divorced. Like, crazy. After that, I mean, we don't know them, right? So, but in our vicinity where we're at, like, there isn't a couple that stayed together, and we are the couples or the generation that's breaking that chain.
Who are we supposed to look up to? Like, now I'm old enough to, like, all right, I'm fucking go YouTube this shit if I need to. But who are we supposed to look up to when you have that growing up?
That's why I just rely on God, because I don't have an actual figure in a way to say, where I'm at. Like, my parents are divorced. I can't really go ask my parents for marital advice. Yeah. Their relationship failed.
Yeah.
Like, not to say they're not going to give me good advice. They probably are. But I want advice from couples that have stayed together for 60 plus years and see how they did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Shit, let me know when you find one, man. I'm still looking.
It might just be us, bro. We might have to talk 40 years from now.
For sure, dude. No, it's tough. It's tough. And especially when the arguments happen, who do we run to first when arguments happen? You run to your family, parents, friends, right? Friends.
If you have them.
And if you're not mindful who you talk to, right? If you get into an argument and I'm going to run to, I don't know, Rich.
Yeah.
And Rich, you've been single for 25 years, playboy, does not live in a relationship, has 3 baby mamas. Yeah. And like, are you going to give me the best advice?
No, I'm going to tell you, hey, bro, don't worry about it. There'll be another one.
Exactly.
Let's go out tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's get drunk. We'll find one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Been there, done that.
Yeah. And that's true, and it goes both ways, right? Like, even if you tell your family, hey, listen, me and my wife are going through this problem, and let's say you're talking to your sister, right? Yeah. Well, your sister loves you. She wants the best for you. So guess what? Yeah, you. And so she's going to tell you advice, and then she's going to have this little bit of bitterness towards your wife now. And then you guys are going to work it out. Everything's going to be fine. The next family event you go to, you guys are fine, lovey-dovey. While your sister just remembers what she did to you. It's like, I don't like her no more.
Yeah.
Now that starts problems between that relationship, right? So you can't really, you have to be very careful who you go to with your advice, because even if it's somebody that you do trust and can give you good advice and they do want the best for you, well, just remember, they're not going to like what that other person did to you. So they're going to have some form of resentment toward that other person.
Bias, yeah, 100%.
So if you don't want that for your wife or your relationship, then you're going to have to talk to somebody that's like a third party that's just not even involved in your family, friendship, anything like that, which there isn't a lot of people that do that, so.
Honestly, man, seeing a professional goes a long way.
Yeah.
Like, I was able to uncover a lot of shit and, dug up a lot of bones, man, in my backyard once I started seeing a professional. That's made me a better person.
That's good.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of this problem, I don't think we've even touched on the childhood trauma yet.
Oh, bro.
And like where that comes from. That stems down deep, you know, deep with stuff. Like I'm just revealing stuff now that I forgot about or that I didn't even realize.
Legitimately
like,
forgot?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then because you like, you know, there's like this a thing I heard, like any type of trauma that really affects you, your body can or your mind can try to wipe it out. Right? It's like a defense mechanism, right? It like completely forgets about it. And then it, like later, but it's still affecting you in some way. And that's where you have to get down to your subconsciousness and really sit deep with yourself. You know, there's been instances where like people have gotten like molested and they forgot about it. And then they think about like, oh shit, like, yeah, like when I was 5 years old, I remember like that happening to me.
That's a dark memory.
Like, and that's why I have trouble in my relationships, or that's why I don't want to have, you know, sexual relationships with women no more. Cause I feel like, you know, my aunt, she molested me when I was little, you know, and now I'm dealing with that. That's where that came from. Holy shit. I got to work on that, you know? And so that's a whole nother issue right there in this world on what's going on.
Yeah. How did you uncover the fact that you forgot about something?
Well, just like realizing, you know, like I do certain things and I saw it when I was growing up, you know, I saw certain things happen. And I thought that was okay. And now I think I'm like, dude, that's not okay. Like I shouldn't be doing that, you know, like simple stuff, right? Like let's just say drinking and driving, for example. Like I saw all my tios and all my cousins and stuff like that get behind the wheel after drinking. I thought I should do it, right? And then I get the DUI. And then I dive deeper into it. And I go to those mad events, right? Mothers Against Drug Driving.
Yeah.
And I hear all these stories of how like people killed their sons and stuff like that over drinking and driving. Like, dude, I never even thought that I was going to be hurting somebody else. Yeah. I thought it was just me. You know what I mean? But it's just like stuff that you see growing up. It's like it turns you into who you are now, but it's not always a good thing, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I see that a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I see that. One of the events that changed my life, one of the events that made me realize that you only have one life to live in, you never guarantee tomorrow, was the incident where I saw a drunk driver, a kid, kill another kid. And I happened to be there and hold his head while his head was like just broken. Yeah. I'm just trying to hold it together in pieces before the ambulance arrives so his brain doesn't leak out, which it started to. You know, I will never forget that. I'll never forget. I have this memory, man, because his phone was next to him. He was pushed back. He flew back like 15, 20 feet, broke his head, right? And I remember just, for some reason, like it's today, man, his phone was next to him and the phone was ringing. And somebody was calling him. I think it was his mom was calling him. And I was like, fuck. Like, just that one moment, dude, it was one of those incidents where I was like, I will never forget that. Yeah. Never forget that. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. He wasn't even crossing the street. The guy passed the red light, hit another car. That car spun out and hit the kid that was standing on the sidewalk waiting for crosswalk light to turn. Took him out, dude. Cold. He died on the spot.
Man, yeah.
And I will never forget that.
That's where your actions can affect somebody else's life that you don't even know about.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? He probably thought like, yeah, I might run into another car. He never thought about a pedestrian that he was going to hurt.
Yeah.
You know.
Speaking of the eerie shit, dig this. This kid that was driving drunk was coming from a party of a celebrity whose name I'm not going to name. That celebrity party valet let him drive the car even though he was drunk. Looking back at it, we had to go to court and testify. We noticed on our body-worn camera that on that same intersection was a big-ass banner for that celebrity's party. Oh. For that celebrity.
Wow.
Eerie shit, isn't it?
That's crazy.
That's the corner this kid got killed by a driver who came from that party.
Man,
some shit you don't forget, dude.
No. That's hard. Yeah, I can just imagine, you know. And then that's the hard part too about being a parent, you know. It's like you let your kids live a life, you know, and that's what I think about, you know, with my kids. It's like you could talk to them all you want, you can provide the best example all you want. Just one time, wrong place, wrong moment, it's over. You know, so it's just it's hard, man. It's hard being a parent and not having that control over your kids in a way. You know, all you can do is just talk to them, and be the best example. You know, and they're ultimately gonna do what they want to do. Yeah, you know, and they're not even the ones drinking like that kid. He wasn't even the one in the car behind the wheel.
Yeah, wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, so
no, just seeing, and I had a handful of incidents where I saw people lose their life, literally, wrong place, wrong time. Maybe if they walked a little faster, it would have been in life. Yeah. Maybe if they, you know, spilled the coffee on themselves, you know, at Starbucks before what they were getting, they would have been alive. Yeah. But it's wrong place, wrong time. Yeah. And seeing these incidents over and over and over again, I was like, man, what the fuck am I doing in my life?
Yeah.
This can happen to me. Like, I legitimately go out there and I'm a target.
Yeah.
People don't know my character, don't know who I am, but because I'm wearing a certain uniform, they want to kill me.
Just because you're clothes.
So what am I doing in my fucking life, dude? I'm gonna come back here and drink and do dumb shit and just go to waste it? No, I'm not. I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'll go for it. Get rich or die trying type of thing. But I don't know. Sounds cliche, but it's the truth.
You have to, and you have to realize that the more times that you're sitting there thinking about stuff that you should do or not taking action towards the direction you want to go in life, you're being this person that like thinks that you have the rest of your life to live. You don't.
No.
You don't. You have these next hours and you don't even have that given to you. You know what I mean? So like, that's why I don't get why people just sit there and do nothing or wait for the perfect time to happen.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you're letting all this time slip by you that you don't even have. Like, you're in debt with time. You have to make up time. Why are you sitting there wasting it? You know? And like, yeah, I used to get pissed off, going back to what you said. If somebody would just walked a little bit slower or dropped the coffee or whatnot, they would have been in a different position. And me and my wife, we laugh about that, when something happens. Because we have 4 kids, man. So getting out of the house, it takes like an hour. You know what I mean? Finding shoes. They don't want that shoe. Got to redo them. My socks feel weird. Let me take it off. Like, literally, bro, it's a chore. So we're late to a lot of stuff. Yeah. Not on purpose, but just because we have stuff going on. And then, we leave. And then my wife, I left my phone on the counter when I was tying shoes. Now we have to go backwards and then go. I used to be that guy that's like, come on, everybody needs to get their shit together. Let's go. Da, da, da. Now we just laugh about it. And we're just like, hey, maybe God is preventing us from something. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why we're not on the road right now. Something could have been helping us. So, like, we just laugh about it now and just, like, it is what it is. We'll be late. Oh, well. You'd rather be late than never getting there, right?
Yeah.
So,
no. Yeah. Speaking of God, man, he's looking
after
you.
And that's another way of, like, seeing God work, right? And you look back on your life and you're like, oh, okay. God's always in control. God's always looking out for me. Yeah.
What do you think defines a man?
I think man just being responsible, right? Being responsible with everything in his life. Having compassion for other people, just realizing that you're a man, you're a protector, you're a provider, and not a lot of people are going to get it right. And I've learned that with myself. So having compassion for other people, because I used to be a hothead. I used to be the type of guy that used to, I'd fight you on the side of the freeway on road rage. You know what I mean? I was just a hot-headed person. Now I'm trying to think about, okay, what's this person going through? How could I help him? Right? He's over here yelling at me, wanting to fight me. Let me calm him down. Like, I use it as a game, right? Let me have compassion for this person because I was him once. And then another part is discipline, right? Having that discipline to continue doing what you have to do in life despite how you feel, right? Like, men, in a way, hate to say it, but no one gives a shit how you feel.
Yeah, nobody cares.
You could be sad, you could be depressed, you could be going through a bunch of shit. Guess what? You still got to get up. You still got to go to work. You still got to put food on the table. You got to do what you got to do. That's where that discipline comes in. You know what I mean? Deal with that shit at another time. Now it's time to sack up and get to work. So if you could have those two qualities, I think that's what really makes a man. And just working on yourself, right? Having compassion for yourself. You're not going to have everything. You're not going to have all the answers figured out. You're going to need some help. You're going to need to ask somebody for help. So have compassion with yourself and allow yourself to go through that. So discipline and compassion, I would say those are the two qualities that make a man.
Okay. I like that. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned responsibility because I think Chris Rock said it. It was a pretty rough statement, but I agree with him. Only women, children, and pets are loved unconditionally for what they are. Men are only loved under one condition. We have to provide. Yeah. It's the truth, but it's sad. It's a sad truth, but it is what it is, man. Yeah. We're handed a fucking backpack full of different bricks every day when you wake up. Yeah. You got to carry that shit. Yeah. But there's a certain level of...
I heard a quote like that. It was something like, boys become men when they realize that no one cares about how they feel up until they can provide... or until they can provide something, right? Like they could be some type of service or something like that. And it's true. Yeah. And people look at it as like, oh shit, like, man, like that's pretty hardcore, right? But in a sense, if you think about it, no one cares. Like, no one cares about my problems.
So why should you care about their fucking opinion?
Should you fucking care? Yeah. Exactly. You know what I mean?
Life changing.
Do they fucking pay your bills?
No.
No.
Yeah.
So who the fuck are they to tell you what to do with your life?
Yeah. I always say, unless you're feeding me, fucking me, or providing me with any kind of
like that
financial, thing, you're nobody to give me advice.
Yeah.
Or you possess something like that look up to, because people take advice and look up to people whose lives they don't want to live.
Yeah.
You're going to take advice from some broke ass fool who, hasn't amounted to shit in life. You can take his advice?
Yeah.
Nah, you're dumb.
Yeah.
Taking advice from a person who's accomplished something or has something that you respect, admire, and want to have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I get that a lot under my pictures, my before and afters. You get those trolls, and they tell you, oh, he looked better when he was bigger. And I look at their page and he's a bigger dude. I'm like, well, no wonder why you think that shit. Like, I look like you at that point.
Yeah.
So you're trying to make yourself feel better. You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a lot of fucking people, man, that have a lot of shit to say.
Dude, keyboard warriors, bro.
Man, or even family, right? They got a lot of shit to say. You look at their life, you have no room to talk.
Because when you step on your path of self-mastery and you go after your dreams, in the beginning, people cheer for you because they're happy for you, okay? Because you remind them of, what it's like, But then when you get to the top or you get to a certain level, they start hate you. Why? Because you remind them of what they could have been.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
And that's when the hate starts.
Yeah.
That's when you get the, oh, you think you're special? I'm not fucking special. I'm different. I'm not special. I'm just different.
Yeah. Yeah. I put in the work you didn't want to put in.
Exactly.
And therefore, you hate me now for it.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, maybe if you get off your ass and you do something, over a period of time, you do something. But
and then you offer that, right? You offer the help. Hey, let me help you. Nah, that's all right. I'll figure it out. Okay.
Cool. Figure it
your
out.
Mouth then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, there's a lot of that. Even in our family, there's a lot of people. Yeah, just be careful. Do this, do that. It's like, worry about yourself. Like, we're good. You know what I mean? And I don't want to be like you, anyways. Believe me. So I'm good. I'm good where I'm at. Yeah.
All right. I'm say 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one question that I was always asked all of my guests before I finished the episode, and I don't know if you ever catch it on one of my episodes, but the question I ask is a two-part question, right? What is the purpose of life, and how can one find purpose in life? Because the whole point of my change in life was I finally able to find my purpose, and my purpose can change. Things can change. You accomplish, you want to the next thing, but what is the purpose of life in your opinion?
I think for me, it's like finding those traumas that affected you, right? Because you're going to go through those, and then finding the solution to those, and then passing that on to other people, and that's like serving others, right?
Service.
Helping others. Yeah, service. So I think that's what we're all here for, one way or another, to help the next man, advance and get to where they need to go. And so I think that's our purpose, right? Is just being able to help, provide value, to be the best possible version of us. Which we can, because we were created by the Creator to create a better life, right? And how we do that is by handling our bullshit, right? Getting through the stuff and the traumas that we're going through, figuring out how we did, and then just living this life of service to other people. Like, that's what makes me happy. When I'm having a bad day and I see a homeless person, my day is not that bad. Not no more. You know what I mean? Because I can see that, and then I could help them by providing either a prayer for them, giving them money, buying them food, and then afterwards I walk away feeling good about myself. You know what I mean? And all I did was provide service to that person. I didn't get nothing in return from him except the satisfaction that I helped. So I think that's how people can find their purpose is, what are you lacking in your life? Go out and help somebody find that, and you're going to find it in yourself. So if you lack love and you just really want love, go love on somebody, right? Okay. Go find somebody that's lacking love too, and then just be that love for them. You're going to find love back. You know what I mean? So whatever you're lacking, go do that, and you're going to get it backwards. Yeah.
Man, I agree with that. Though somebody argued me the other day, don't you think that you just mentioned you provide some kind of service and you walk away feeling better about yourself? Somebody said, well, that's a selfish reason too.
It is.
Because you're looking for something in return. It might not be monetary, but it made you feel good. I said, yeah, 100% it is. But guess what? I would rather get paid in that way than monetary, because out of all the vices out there, out of all the ways of benefiting, that one has like the highest value.
Right.
You know? And if that's what it takes, then so freaking be it. I'll take it all day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, 100%. It is selfish in a way. I think everything that we do is some form of selfishness. Well, how is it going to benefit us in a way? Yeah. Right. But if you could also look at it from another perspective of like, I'm going to do this out of the kindness of my heart, and I already know I'm going to be taken care of. You know, that's why like I don't attach myself, so far to like money in a way. Like I can give somebody $20 and not be so attached to that money because I know that money is just gonna come flowing freely. Like God's gonna take care of me. So I don't need to like hold on to every single penny I have thinking I'm never going to get it back. Yeah. You know? So it is selfish. I'm giving you this because I already know I'm going to get something in return. Yeah. Or else why else would we do it? Yeah. You know, we're human. We have that selfishness in us. You know, that's where sin comes from. That's why God ultimately, you know, why Jesus died on the cross for us. Yeah. You know, so.
You got to be selfish in order to be selfless.
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, people are like, you know, when I first started off on my fitness journey, you know, I had the same excuse as everybody else. I have family, I have kids, I can't do this stuff. But then I started looking at them like, well, how can I figure out a way to do that when they're not affected by it? Wake up earlier, right? Like sacrifice some of my sleep. So I was waking up at 2 p.m. or 2 a.m. every single morning, and then getting my workout done, getting my meals prepped, going to work, coming home, and then spending time with them. Yeah. You know, so was it selfish because now I had to, you know, work out and for myself? Not really, because they were asleep. You know what I mean? So I wasn't taking family time away. Yeah. So there are ways of doing it, right? Yeah. You know, but you just got to be creative with your time. And but yes, you definitely have to be selfish in order to give and to be selfless.
Totally agree with you. Yeah. Well, great conversation, man.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, awesome. And I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. I know we discussed a couple of good points. Made some people angry for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
that's what we're here for.
Also gave us
make
some good
you feel
advice.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah. And again, guys, follow Richard, you know, on Instagram at warpath.fit. You know, check him on his website, warpathfit.com. The company is Warpath Fitness.
Yes, sir.
The guy's a complete, absolute beast.
Thank you.
Man, you're putting in work out there. I see it every day. You know, lifting heavy weights, but not only, you're a good family man of God, and I respect that. So thank you for being here. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please click like, share, and subscribe. Extract some value from this. Essentially, that's what we do this for. This is just, you know, a journey. Yes. Everybody's journey. My journey. And, you know, thank you for being part of my journey, and so are the viewers there.
Likewise.
Part of my journey.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for being here.
All right.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir.